Chapter 42:18. Is he dead? A bona fide holy venerate was directly killed by someone. The surrounding people were flabbergasted. What kind of heaven-defying combat strength was this? Who would have thought that such a terrifying genius would appear before the heavenly Tao discussion? They wondered which power this person belonged to. Let's go. Lin Xian waved his hand, and the azure dragon phantom enveloped the few of them. Then he tore open the void and disappeared. The spectators knew that a huge commotion was about to happen. The Great Desolate Manor would definitely not let this matter rest. Indeed, the Great Desolate Manor's 6th Dao Sage descended and began to sweep through the crowd. However, the 6th Dao Sage had already disappeared. They could only grit their teeth and snort. It would be best if they did not meet them during the heavenly Tao discussion. Otherwise they would let them know what regret and despair was. In an instant the news spread and shocked the entire heavenly wind world. On the other side, Lin Xian left with the few of them. He sent a message to Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu. When there was no one around at night, they would meet again. Night fell. Lin Xian left behind a clone, and then his real body used the void escape to leave. Lin Xian flew over according to the address that Murong Qingqing and the others left. He saw Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu waiting for him. Lin Xian, big brother. Shen Jingqiu's eyes turned red instantly. Murong Qingqing also said, I was scared to death. Lin Xian said, don't worry. Even without the Great Sage Pagoda, I have the ability to protect myself. Let's go in. The three of them entered the palace and Lin Xian set up a formation. In the next few days, Lin Xian stayed with the two of them, waiting for the heavenly Tao discussion to begin. On this day the entire sky was lit up. Countless terrifying auras descended, and everyone in every corner of the world stood up. Their expressions were solemn because they knew that a Sage King had arrived. This was a supreme aura that only a Sage King could emit. Phantoms of 9 beasts roared in the sky. They were all ancient beasts and were extremely powerful. They were pulling a war chariot, breaking through the clouds and slowly flying over. A terrifying aura shrouded the world, causing everyone to tremble. A figure walked out of the war chariot. The demonic aura around him was even more terrifying. It was as if he was an ancient beast that had awakened. It was the Sage King of the myriad demons. After the soaring sky Saint King arrived, he looked down on the world and accepted the worship of countless people. However, at this moment, a dozen great demons appeared in the void and knelt down on one knee. Now he only had 3 lives left. Damn it, a bunch of trash. So many of you can't even protect one person? The greater demons below were trembling. No one could stop the Sage King's anger. They could only kneel and beg for mercy. Sage King, please spare our lives. But that kid was too strange. We were careless and failed to protect him. Who was it? Sage King Fei asked coldly. Could it be that a Sage King had made a move? If that was the case, he didn't mind killing the kid personally. He wanted to let the kid know what it was like to bully the weak. However, the beast said that it was a young man who hadn't reached the Sage King level. His name was Sword Maniac. Not a Sage King but a young one. Sage King Fei's face darkened. He had no excuse to make a move now. He couldn't interfere with the fight between the younger generation. If he interfered, he would be breaking the rules. Damn it. He really deserved to die. Where did this genius come from? How could he be so strange? He had to investigate this matter. Of course it was here. He couldn't say it. Instead, he waved his hand and said, get in here. Those beasts brought the 9 Chilants into the war chariot. Then the 9 beasts roared. They quickly tore through the void and flew into the distance. I think Sage King Fei will vomit blood from anger. That's for sure. The genius under him could be incomparably dazzling, but he suffered such a loss as soon as he came. His heart will probably bleed. Do you think Sage King Fei will make a move? That's impossible. That kid looks very young. A fight between the younger generation doesn't need a Sage King to personally make a move. That's not necessarily true. Don't forget how Lin Wudi was killed. Indeed, many people fell silent when they heard that. Lin Wudi was such a dazzling, peerless genius. He would definitely become a Sage King in the future. He might even become a great god. Such a person didn't die in the fight between the younger generation, but was killed by a Sage King. It was really regrettable. Someone said, stop talking. Do you want to die? Don't forget who the host is this time. That was the Acheron Palace. If they hear us talking about Lin Xian, all of us will be killed. These people's faces instantly turned pale, and they didn't dare to say anything. Not long after Sage King Fei Tian arrived, thunder rumbled between heaven and earth. The Sage King of Thunder God City also arrived. The great Tao of Thunder God City carried a majestic figure as he walked over. He was called Sage King Wanlei. His strength was terrifying, and he had the power to destroy heaven and earth. After Sage King Wanlei arrived, he gathered the sages of Thunder God. Then he occupied a position in the world. Then Endless Sword Chi fell, and a figure that looked like a sword god appeared. There were two ancient swords on his back, emitting a biting cold light. With a light wave he could split a world. The Sage King of Myriad Swords Pavilion, the Divine Ghost Sword King. It was said that his sword technique had unfathomable power. Other than that, the Sage Kings of Great Desolate Mansion, Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion, and Limitless Sect also arrived. Sage King Wushuang also came. He had delicate features like a 16 or 17-year-old youth. However, the Sage King aura on his body was not to be underestimated. Not only did he come, but he also brought a large number of experts and geniuses from Wushuang City. These Sage Kings all found a position in the world. They dominated a region. Some of the top clans also came, such as the Azure Dragons and Winged Dragons. Although they were not the Sacred City, their strength and foundation were not inferior to the Sacred City. The surrounding people were shocked. These were the super forces and Sage Kings. It was rare to see one on a normal day, but now they were seeing so many Sage Kings. It was truly a sight that was hard to come by in 1,000 years. The people from Acheron Hall are not here yet, right? Someone said, "What's there to panic about? They are the last ones to arrive." Sure enough, after waiting for a long time, countless Acheron diagrams appeared. Then one after another, Acheron figures appeared. The one standing in the center was the Silver Corpse Sage King. His aura made everyone's scalp tingle as if their lives were about to be taken away. When Lin Xian saw this figure, he also frowned. A cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. It was the other party who almost killed him with a palm strike. There would be a day when he would personally avenge this grudge. Chapter 42:19. Following that, more families and holy cities arrived. The joyous Union Palace's prestige also arrived. She was called the Closed Moon Sage King. Not only did she come, but she also brought a few people with her. Xian was among them. Lin Xian heaved a sigh of relief when he saw that. It seemed like Xian wasn't in any danger. However, he was puzzled as he didn't see anyone from the Green Hill Nine-Tails race participating in the battle. As for the reason behind it, he didn't know. After waiting for another 3 days, the Silver Corpse Sage King stood up when he saw that no one had arrived. He said in a clear voice, welcoming everyone to the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. This is a grand event in the second astral world. Your names will be recorded in the Holy Hall in the future. This is an unparalleled honor. Therefore you must give it your all in this Holy Heavens Tao discussion. Don't let down the Holy City's expectations of you. Many people clenched their fists when they heard that. This was an opportunity. If they could stand until the end, they would be able to obtain an unparalleled opportunity. They might be able to leave the second astral world and head to the legendary Holy Lands. Their future achievements might even surpass the Holy City. When they thought of that, they felt a surge of excitement. Alright, let's not talk anymore. I now announce the start of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. A loud voice exploded between heaven and earth as the Silver Corpse Sage King formed a hand seal and pressed it against the void. The entire sky shattered and the earth shook. Everyone exclaimed as they didn't know what was happening. However, when they saw the Sage King's calm expressions, they calmed down. Even if there was any danger, the Sage Kings could sweep through everything. The entire heavenly wind world was enveloped by a terrifying law. Everyone discovered that changes had occurred in the ground. One arena after another had appeared. These were all arenas that had been passed down from the ancient times or even further back. They were able to withstand the attacks of sacred sovereigns and were specially prepared for the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. Everyone realized that some of the stages had dark red marks on them. Those were the blood that flowed from the battles of the geniuses in the past. Even after countless years, the blood hadn't changed. From this, one could imagine how powerful those people who had fought back then were. There were many stages and they were very wide. They covered the entire land. At the same time, the rules of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion were spread. There were 3 stages. In the first stage, the participants would be separated into different stages based on their cultivation. So they fought. Everyone had 3 chances to be defeated. After 3 times they would be eliminated. Both sides of the battle also used the form of a challenge. There was no need to worry that no one would make a move. After all, everyone wanted to make a name for themselves in such a rare event. Moreover, he would have the opportunity to engrave his name on the Holy Hall. This was a supreme honor. Therefore, the battle would definitely be very intense. The competition was divided into 3 different areas. The first region was for those under 2,000 years old, and the second region was for those between 2,000 and 5,000 years old. The third area was for those over 5,000 years old. This time it wasn't based on cultivation but age. However, no matter how strong a person under 2,000 years old was, he would only be an early-stage holy venerate. Hence, everyone felt more at ease. That way they would not encounter those middle-stage holy venerables or even those late-stage holy venerables. As for those old monsters, they all had their own battlefields where they could exchange blows. As for the second stage, no one knew yet. What they needed to do was to try their best to earn points in the first round so that they could get a higher ranking. He wanted to make himself even more dazzling. The Holy Heavens Tao discussion did not allow holy kings to appear. In other words, holy kings and holy kings' weapons were not allowed to appear. Anyone who violated the rules would be disqualified. There was another point. In the arena, life and death did not matter. Only victory and defeat were determined. In other words, the battle would not only be intense, but a large number of experts and geniuses would also be killed. Although it was very cruel, the world of cultivation was like that. Everyone who reached the peak had to go through the baptism of blood and slaughter to be able to stand out. After learning about the situation, everyone took a deep breath. Although the path ahead of them was very dangerous, no one retreated. Instead, they all clenched their fists. This time they would definitely make a name for themselves in the starry sky. As the rules of the competition and the ancient arena appeared, everyone started to panic. Everyone took a deep breath. The Silver Corpse Holy King also announced the start of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. As his voice fell, figures flew out one after another from different parts of the world. They landed on the arena respectively. On the Lightning God City side, a woman bathed in lightning appeared. She held an ice and lightning sword in her hand that exuded a destructive aura. From the looks of it, she was a genius. On the Demon City side, a man walked out. Flames danced around his body. He seemed to be a powerful genius of the vermilion bird race. On the Myriad Sword Pavilion's side, a terrifying sword venerate descended upon them. Terrifying sword chi swept across the 9 heavens and 10 lands. The other sacred cities and powerful families had also sent people to assist them. Every one of them was extremely powerful. If they were in the outside world, they would be able to sweep through an entire world. But now they were all gathered together to fight for the peak. Around the Heavenly Wind world, there were 4 small worlds that were filled with people. They came from all over the second astral world to watch the battle. There were also some people who came to watch the battle in the starry sky. When these people saw the terrifying figures standing in the arena below, they immediately sucked in a breath of cold air. Previously they were extremely dissatisfied that they could not enter. But now they understood. With their strength they did not have the qualifications to enter. They could only watch from outside. Even Lin Xian saw Qin Xiener and Murong Qingqing walking out. It seemed that these sacred cities were all planning to use their strength in the first battle to tell the world how powerful they were. A man walked out from the Wushuang city's side. He was also extremely terrifying. But it was not Linghu Chueshue or Fu Hongye. It was another stranger. But it seemed like he was also a top expert. On the Acheron Palace's side, they also sent sacred venerables to fight. This time they naturally could not be defeated in the Tao discussion. Therefore, the people they sent for the first round were extremely powerful. On the other hand, the Great Desolate Mansion had their own strategy. They decided to hide part of their strength and send out some of their core strength. It was rare to send out a peerless expert in the later stages. But although he was the core strength, he was still a peak small saint. He was not far from becoming a sacred venerable. Basically, all the arenas were filled with people, waiting for others to challenge them. Soon people flew up to challenge the arenas. When Lin Xian saw this, the corner of his mouth curled up into a cold smile. Very well, it was time to reap the rewards. Demon City, Acheron Palace, Great Desolate Mansion. These were the 3 holy cities that had hunted him. He would not let any of them go. Chapter 42:20. Huang Yimou stood on the stage with a smile on his face. He felt that his chance had come. This time he must show his strength to the world. Although he wasn't a saint venerable and was only at the peak of the minor saint realm, he was confident that no one in the same realm as him was his match. As long as he didn't encounter a true saint venerable, he was confident of winning. Buzz who's going to challenge me? His gaze rarely traveled in all directions. Suddenly, he saw a figure transform into a gust of wind and arrive at the arena. Oh, someone's coming. Huang Imo squinted his eyes and looked forward. The opponent should be using the law of wind. His speed was pretty good, which made him a little interested. He carefully probed but didn't find the aura of a saint venerable from the opponent. Huang Imo heaved a sigh of relief. Great, this opponent's strength is at most on par with mine. That means I'm not afraid at all. Brat, tell me your name because you only have one chance to speak. Huang Imo said indifferently. Oh, is that so? The youth opposite him laughed. Alright, listen carefully. My name is Sword Maniac. Sword Maniac? I think you're an idiot. Huang Imo sneered. You dare to challenge me? I'll kill you in one move. He sneered and slapped his palm forward. Countless law filled his palm. It was the law of wildfire. It carried a terrifying flame aura and slapped forward. Buzz a pair of dark golden wings appeared behind Lin Xian's back and spread out. It turned into a storm. This was the secret technique he obtained from the winged dragons. It allowed him to move at an extremely fast speed. At the same time he used the imperial sword technique of the sword dragons. A sword light slashed across. The two of them exchanged blows in a flash and stood in the air with their backs facing each other. Lin Xian immediately put away the nomological laws on his body and walked out of the ring. The spectators were stunned. What's going on? Is the battle over? The people of the great desolate mansion sneered. This kid must know that he's not a match for senior brother Huang Imo. He's going to admit defeat obediently. That's for sure. Who dares to go against the great desolate mansion? They looked up and laughed. However, they were soon stunned. The reason for that was because they discovered that Huang Mo's body had fallen to the ground. Blood was flowing from his body and dyeing the entire stage red. What? He was injured. That's impossible. The people of the great desolate mansion widened their eyes and screamed in horror. What just happened? Why didn't they see it clearly? The elders and experts of the great desolate mansion frowned as they carefully examined the situation. In the next moment, their expressions turned extremely ugly. This was because they realized that there was no longer any life in the desert. 3 figures descended from the sky. They were the 3 judges. There were 3 referees in each arena. The 3 referees were chosen randomly from different holy cities and families. This would prevent anyone from cheating. They went up to take a look, then shook their heads and said that he had been killed. The sword maniac won the battle. Hearing this, the people of the great desolate mansion were completely stunned. The other people were also in an uproar. Heavens, this sword maniac was actually an expert. Moreover, to be able to kill a peak minor saint with a single strike, what was his cultivation base? Could it be that he was already a saint venerable? I don't know. I can't sense his aura. How mysterious. Everyone exclaimed. The faces of the people of the great desolate mansion turned ugly. To be honest, although they didn't send a saint venerable, they were very confident in Huang Imo. Moreover, there wouldn't be too many experts in the beginning. In this way their chances of winning would be very high. However, they didn't expect that the sword maniac would be killed in the first battle. This was a provocation. He jumped up and stepped on their faces. Damn it, the people of the great desolate mansion were clenching their teeth so hard that they almost broke. The great desolate Heaven King's face turned gloomy. After all, the battle had just begun and the reputation of the holy city was very important. Now the opponent had embarrassed him. He said loudly, "Don't think that this is a joke. This is a very formal battle. Those who are able to participate in this battle are all top experts and experts. There were even some hidden and secretly cultivated people who would appear. Therefore you can't afford to be careless here. Huang Mo's death is a good lesson. Do you all understand?" Yes. The people of the great desolate mansion quickly lowered their heads and remembered the great desolate Heaven King's teachings. We will treat this battle seriously and not make any mistakes. At the same time they raised their heads and started to look for Lin Xian. They would remember this grudge. However, they realized that Lin Xian had already disappeared into the crowd. Damn it, he actually let that brat escape. It doesn't matter. He will definitely take action again. When the time comes, we will lock onto him and find someone to kill him when he goes up. He was targeted by the great desolate mansion again. However, Lin Xian didn't care. This time he was here for revenge. He would never let go of these great sage cities. So what if he was targeted? He went into the crowd and started to look around the arena. He realized that Murong Qingqing, Qin Xiener, and the rest had already won their first battle. Then some of them walked down the arena while others continued to challenge. He looked at the peerless city side and realized that the first unfamiliar man had also won. Then Fu Hongye also started to fight. Other than that, he also noticed some top experts. For example, Wang Jini and Chao Tianxing had also successfully broken through to the Saint Venerable realm. He had to admit that these people's strength, talent, and opportunities were very strong. Other than that, there were also some young rising stars. Lin Xin only took a glance at them and didn't pay any more attention to them. These people weren't a threat to him. The ones who were a threat were the disciples of the previous generation, such as Huang Shisan of the Great Desolate Mansion. Back then he was someone who competed with Fu Hongye. Lin Xin wasn't sure how strong he was now. Lin Xin's eye technique was powerful, so he could overlook the entire battlefield to observe. However, he was suddenly stunned. At the same time, there was a cry of surprise from a distant battlefield. Countless people looked over. Look, that's Fu Hongye. He actually met an opponent. Everyone was stunned. Fu Hongye was the chief disciple of the second generation of the Peerless City. At the same time, he was also a genius on the pilgrim list of the previous generation. He was very strong. Logically speaking, he should be able to kill his opponent easily. However, this time his opponent was extremely terrifying. He was actually able to threaten Fu Hongye. Lin Xin also frowned. Who was this person? He discovered that this person did not use the Holy City's unique lost skill. That was to say, the other party might not be from the Holy City. Of course, there was also another possibility. This was originally a secret expert nurtured by the Holy City. It was just that at this moment, in order to hide his identity, he displayed some other lost skills. The strength of this person's law was extremely terrifying. It shrouded the entire arena. Fu Hongye was actually suppressed. However, fortunately, after 50 moves, Fu Hongye suddenly erupted with power and injured the other party. That person directly left the arena and disappeared. Took the initiative to forfeit? Everyone was surprised. This was equivalent to a failure. There were only a total of 3 chances to fail. Such an expert easily admitted defeat. It was really too much of a pity. However, the powerhouses on the Peerless City's side frowned. Damn it. Immediately retreating after failing to hit and hiding his strength. This was clearly a hunter. Chapter 42-21. The Holy Heavens Tao discussion was rarely held. However, it wasn't the first time that some of the elders had participated in it. Naturally, they had seen such things in the past. Every sacred city had some experts who were secretly nurtured. They were usually hidden, but they would take them out at critical moments. For example, the hidden experts would hide their identities and attack the other geniuses of the Holy City. Although it wasn't honorable, it was used by many holy cities. They didn't expect someone to target Wuxia City. Who was it? The elders' faces turned cold. They immediately thought of the 3 great sage cities. They were the Thousand Demon City, Acheron Hall, and the Great Baron Mansion. After all, Wuxia City had previously fought with the 3 great sage cities. The relationship between the 2 sides was like fire and water. However, they couldn't rule out the possibility that it was another holy city. They had to be more careful in the future. On the other side, Lin Xian's face turned cold when he saw the situation. Damn it, it seemed like someone was targeting Wuxia City. Since that was the case, they couldn't blame him for being ruthless. He looked around. Suddenly, he noticed that one of the arenas was empty and a figure went up. The person's cold aura was terrifying. It was obvious that he was an expert from the Acheron Hall. Moreover, he was a holy venerate. Many people didn't dare to challenge him. Very well. Lin Xian's eyes flashed coldly. Let's start with this holy venerate. His body flashed and he flew towards the arena. Lung Pao smiled when he got up. With his strength, ordinary people wouldn't dare to challenge him. However, he didn't expect a figure to appear in front of him. He wondered which holy city's expert was from. Lung Pao looked forward. However, he was stunned. He didn't sense any terrifying holy venerate aura from the other party. Could it be that this person isn't a holy venerate? He couldn't believe it. Is this person courting death? Naturally, the spectators also felt this scene and immediately exclaimed in surprise. Heavens, could it be that this brat wanted to court death? Does he think that he can challenge a holy venerate? Exclamations could be heard. Indeed, it was possible for geniuses to challenge those of a higher cultivation level. However, the people here were all geniuses. They were all stronger than those of the same level. It was very difficult to challenge those of a higher level. This was especially so when the other party was a holy venerate. Leaping levels to fight a holy venerate was simply impossible. Kid, if you obediently kneel on the ground and kowtow to me and admit defeat, I'll let you live. Otherwise you will die a horrible death. Lung Robe's cold voice rang out. In his opinion, he felt that it was beneath him to be an opponent. Lin Xin laughed when he heard that. How arrogant. How could a mere holy venerate be so arrogant in front of me? You look very young. You must be one of the geniuses of the previous generation. If I kill you, I wonder what kind of expression the Acheron Palace will have. Do you really think you can kill me? Lung Pao was stunned, then he sneered disdainfully. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. At this point, an extremely terrifying aura appeared on his body. Endless cold laws condensed into a blade of light, which he held in his hand. The aura emanating from it froze the entire space. Gloomy slash. The black blade of light slashed down, streaking across the void. This blade was abnormally strange. Wherever it passed, black frost would condense. What a terrifying aura. This was the gloomy slash. Many people exclaimed. Under this blade, a holy venerate would not be able to resist at all. It's over. That kid will probably be killed instantly. As expected, this blade enveloped Lin Shen's body and froze Lin Shen's body. Soon after, the frozen body split into two. Instant kill in one move. The surrounding people exclaimed when they saw this scene. Lung Pao also laughed. He did not know what was good for him. The people from the Acheron Palace snorted coldly. In their opinion, unless a powerful holy venerate came, it would be impossible to defeat Lung Pao. However, at this moment the situation changed. Lung Pao shouted angrily. He didn't know when, but many more lightning chains had appeared on his body, trapping him. The aura of thunder and lightning from it made his body numb. How could someone attack him? Who was it? The others were also surprised. Someone exclaimed. Look, there was a figure behind Lung Pao. They looked carefully and saw a figure slowly appearing. He was holding the Law of Thunder in his hand, trapping his opponent. That kid didn't die? How could it be? Could it be that the one that was killed was just a clone? They were really shocked. Lung Pao's pupils constricted. Damn it, the gloomy slash. Many black runes appeared on his body and froze in all directions. Those thunder runes kept exploding, shattering the ice. At the same time, Lin Shen sneered. He used the Azure Dragon Seal and slapped Lung Pao's back, sending him flying. Boom, boom, boom. Half of Lung Pao's body exploded, and blood mist filled the air. It was extremely miserable. Everyone was going crazy. Heavens, what did they just see? A young minor saint actually injured a holy venerate. Oh my god, it can't be. Who is this kid? Damn it. The people from the Acheron Palace frowned when they saw this scene. What was Lung Pao doing? How could he be at a disadvantage in the hands of a minor saint? Lung Pao's expression was ferocious. He knew that he had been careless. The kid in front of him was much stronger than he had imagined. At least, he wasn't someone that an ordinary peak minor saint could compare to. He gritted his teeth and roared. The gloomy slash on his body quickly healed his injuries. At the same time, he turned his head. His pale face was filled with killing intent. Kid, how dare you hurt me? I will make you pay a painful price. The terrifying law on his body spread out, and the whole world turned dark. A cold aura spread out in all directions. Even those who were watching the battle from afar felt a sense of horror. At the same time, those who were at the extraterritorial temple shuddered. What a terrifying gloomy slash. It seemed that Lung Pao was really angry. Could that kid block it? That was the anger of a holy venerate. At this moment, all the people in the world were watching the battle. Gloomy slash. Lung Pao roared. His speed was like a ghost, and he instantly appeared in front of Lin Shen. The gloomy slash in his hand quickly condensed and formed a palm. The gloomy slash on it kept spinning, and it shrouded Lin Shen. This attack was incomparably powerful. Even a holy venerate of the same level wouldn't dare to face it head-on. The surrounding people exclaimed. He's too strong. No wonder he's a holy venerate. This strength was far from what a minor saint could compare to. Chapter 42-22. Looking at the approaching dark palm, Lin Shen's eyes flickered. Instead of dodging, he made his move. Azure Dragon 9 palms. The roar of a dragon was heard as he threw out a palm strike. The phantom of the Azure Dragon collided violently with his opponent's gloomy palm. Boom. An earth-shattering sound was heard and exploded in the arena. It swept across the 9 heavens and pierced through the sky. The people outside the region screamed. Many of them were sent flying by the force. It was too terrifying. If there was no ancient arena, the world would have been destroyed instantly. So powerful. What's going on with this young man? He can actually fight against the sacred venerable. Has such a heaven-defying genius appeared? Exclamations were heard. Under everyone's shocked gaze, a figure was sent flying. Look, someone is injured. Who is it? They took a closer look and then sucked in a cold breath. Because the person who was sent flying was none other than Lung Pao. After one strike, Lung Pao's dark palm was broken. His palm cracked and even his bones were exposed. He was sent flying by the force. His face was full of shock. Lung Pao's strength and physique were above his. Impossible. His mind went blank. Lin Xian struck out with his palm, followed by the other 8 strikes. A dragon's roar was heard between heaven and earth. The azure dragon 9 palms became stronger as it went on. With every palm strike, Cold Robe's body cracked a little bit. By the 8th palm strike, his body had been completely blown apart. He turned into a bloody mist. No one dared to believe that Coco was a true sacred venerable. The strength of her physique was definitely beyond imagination. Even if a sacred venerable stood there and did not use any techniques, a small saint would not be able to break through their defense. In other words, a small saint would not be able to hurt a sacred venerable without special techniques. That was the difference in strength. But now, someone had actually broken through the gap. He had actually defeated a sacred venerable. At this moment, more than a dozen sacred cities and the elders of the top families were all stunned. Countless gazes were looking in their direction. Even the Saint Kings opened their eyes. Their light transformed into long streaks of light as they looked in their direction. Who is this person? Go and find out. We must get information about him. News came one after another. Above the arena, blood mist filled the air as a soul let out a cold shriek. His soul was hugging a small black bead with a ferocious expression. Damn brat, go to hell. He launched a soul attack. The other party's physical body was strong. However, Xiaoqian was a holy venerate after all. His cultivation was suppressed. Even if the soul of a saint venerable did not specialize in cultivation, it was still much stronger than that of a minor saint. He wanted to use his soul to kill the other party. However, Lin Xian was disdainful. 9 Azure Dragon strikes 9th palm. At the same time he activated the dragon breathing technique, and the 9th dragon seemed to have been resurrected, transforming into a 9-fold divine dragon. It roared between heaven and earth. That dragon's roar contained an extremely strong power that directly separated the soul of the other party. Under the 9 palms, his opponent's soul was instantly destroyed. Damn it, how dare you! At this moment, a cold roar rang out. At the same time, a terrifying force swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Did an expert sneak attack him? A pair of dark golden wings instantly appeared behind his back as he activated the law of wind to the extreme. However, this aura was really too terrifying. His law of wind could not completely leave. What kind of person was he? Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine. It seemed that he had to activate the void escape and perform a spatial teleportation. He sighed. Did he have to use his trump card so soon? However, at this moment, another cold snort rang out, startling Lin Xian. He did not use the void escape. A ray of light fell and blocked the terrifying impact of the law of wind. Then another cold voice rang out. How dare you? Who allowed you to attack? As a judge, how dare you attack a contestant? Do you want to die? Taking advantage of this opportunity, Lin Xian's figure flashed and directly went to the distance. He was bewildered. At the same time, the surrounding people also exclaimed. Countless eyes looked over. In the next moment they all saw it. The person who attacked was an old man, and his identity was not ordinary. He was the judge of the arena with a flag on him. What was going on? Why did the judge attack a contestant? Damn it, is there any justice in this world? Cries of surprise rang out. Lin Xian's face also darkened. The Acheron Hall's judge? It seemed that it was related to Cold Robe. Lin Xian turned his head and saw that the person who attacked was an elder from Peerless City. He was also the judge. At this moment he was the one who saved Lin Xian. The Peerless City's judge said coldly. As a judge, how dare you attack a contestant? You have no right to be a judge. The other people were also discussing spiritedly. Even the elders from the other holy cities were also discussing this matter. That's right. Are there no rules at all? How can we compete in peace like this? I think it's better to set new rules. It was obvious that this was a big matter. If the judge was selfish, it would be extremely disadvantageous for the other holy cities. Therefore, at this moment, no one supported it. The faces of the people from Acheron Hall turned ugly. The elders were also shocked. To be honest, they were also heartbroken that Cold Robe was killed. However, if this matter was not handled well, they would be thoroughly embarrassed this time. If this matter was spread out, no one would look up to Acheron Hall. Even the other holy cities would not be willing to be with them. The Silver Corpse Holy King opened his eyes. He said, "Be quiet. I will handle this matter." He stood up and a Holy King aura spread out in all directions. At this moment, the elders and experts from the other holy cities all quietened down. They all looked at their holy kings. As for the other holy kings, their eyes were cold. It seemed that they were all waiting for the judge to decide. If they were not satisfied, the holy kings would also attack. Elder Cold Robe, do you know the rules of a judge? The Silver Corpse holy king's cold voice rang out. The elder judge's body trembled. He said, I know. But this kid dared to kill my grandson. The crowd was in an uproar. So this elder was Cold Robe's grandfather. No wonder he attacked so angrily. However, the other party was too despicable. Why couldn't he attack somewhere else? He actually killed Cold Robe in the arena. Moreover, he was a judge. This was something that no one could tolerate. Sure enough, the Silver Corpse holy king snorted. I don't care what the reason is. Since you chose to be a judge, you have to follow the rules of a judge. If you violate the rules, you will be punished. After saying that, the Silver Corpse holy king shot out a yellow spring diagram from his eyes and enveloped the elder. The elder's body trembled. He was a middle holy venerate and was extremely powerful outside. However, in front of a holy venerate he was pitifully weak. He could not even withstand a glance from the holy venerate. He knelt on the ground and kept kowtowing. Holy King, I know I was wrong. Please spare my life. Chapter 42-23. Was he dead? The other spectators felt their scalps go numb when they saw this scene. That was a sacred venerate. A mid-stage sacred venerate. How much did the sacred venerate have to pay to nurture such a person? But now, the sacred venerate was killed just like that. He was really cold and decisive. However, the elders of the other sacred cities were cold and indifferent. This was the only way to let everyone know the rules. As expected, the Silver Corpse Sage King's cold voice rang out. The Tao debate was not a game. Everyone had to follow the rules. Especially the elders and judges. They represented not only the sacred cities but also the heavenly Tao. If they couldn't do that, their souls would be destroyed. The other elders all felt their scalps go numb. To be honest, they also had juniors and disciples participating in the competition. They originally wanted to play some tricks, but after seeing this scene they all forgot about it. How dare they play tricks at this time? They would end up in a terrible state. The competition continued. After the atmosphere froze for a moment, the scene became lively again. After all, every battle was very exciting. Lin Xian once again retreated into the distance and hid in the crowd. A cold smile appeared on his face. Although the Silver Corpse Sage King spoke as if he was the messenger of the heavenly god, Lin Xian knew that the Silver Corpse Sage King was a despicable and shameless person. The Silver Corpse Sage King was able to disregard his status and cultivation to attack a junior like him. He knew how despicable and shameless this person was. Moreover, he also knew that the Silver Corpse Sage King was doing this for the other sacred cities. As for not being allowed to play tricks, what a joke. Previously, the operation against Fu Hongya was a small trick played by the other sacred cities. Moreover, it was not just one operation. Lin Xian observed carefully and realized that every once in a while an unfamiliar person would make a move. Those people were very powerful. They were all sacred venerates, and they specifically targeted the top geniuses of the other sacred cities. Every time they made a move, their moves were ruthless, and they were usually determined to kill in one strike. Lin Xian knew that these people belonged to different sacred cities. They specialized in hunting down young and promising geniuses. Moreover, many of them succeeded. Once they failed and could not win, these people would immediately give up and leave. This made it impossible for others to do anything. It could be said that he was the Grim Reaper walking in the mortal world. It seemed that he had to be careful because there was no telling when someone like that would target him. At the same time, the people of the Great Sage City were gathering information. Not only did they have to collect information on some unfamiliar faces, they even began to collect information on Lin Xian. Asked the Silver Corpse Saint King from the Yellow Spring Palace. Have you gathered any information about that brat? A figure appeared and said in a low voice, reporting to the Sacred King, we've collected some. This kid was called Sword Maniac. His background was unknown, and he didn't know which sect he belonged to. However, he was very powerful. After coming to the Heavenly Wind World, he killed the nine-headed Qilin and then killed many experts from the Great Desolation Mansion. Even a holy venerate had died at his hands. We speculate that he is very likely a holy venerate who is hiding his cultivation. Other than that, he had a good relationship with Deep Sea Palace's Guan Songhai. He had even helped Murong Qingqing and Shinjingqiu. We suspect that he is related to the Wushuang city. Moreover, the super skills that he used were imbued with the sound of dragons. We suspect that he is related to the dragons. Hearing this, the Silver Corpse Saint King's eyes flickered. The surrounding elders furrowed their brows tightly. This person was very strange. Where did he come from? One of the elders said. I guess that he might be a hunter as well. He was secretly trained by the sacred city. Could he be trained by the Wuxia city? It's very likely. Be careful, he might target us next. Sacred King, should we take action? Or should we change our strategy? Said the Wuxia Sacred King coldly. Follow the original plan. Send someone to keep an eye on this brat. I don't care if he is secretly trained by the Wuxia city, I must get rid of him. Once there's a chance, let our hunters go and kill this brat. An operation to target Lin Xian was quietly underway. Lin Xian naturally knew that the other sacred cities would definitely take notice of him after he displayed the strength of a sacred venerate. They might even start to investigate his identity and background. Therefore, he had to take action again to make things more complicated. Next, he would not only target the Acheron Palace and the Great Desolate Mansion, Demon City, Thunder God City, Myriad Sword Pavilion. He would take action against all the sacred cities that had once gone against him. Those who took action were all defeated. As a result, he was very famous now. The sword fanatic's name started to spread. Heavens, what's wrong with this sword fanatic? Why did he take action against so many experts? Do you guys think that he might be a genius secretly nurtured by some power? That shouldn't be the case. Normally, a hunter would have a specific target. It shouldn't be so big. He would definitely incur the wrath of the crowd. Sure enough, everyone was discussing among themselves. Even the people from the Acheron Palace were puzzled. Damn it. Could it be that they guessed wrong? Let's ignore that brat for now, said the Silver Corpse Sacred King coldly. Lung Pao was killed and an elder attacked. This has caused our reputation to fall very quickly. Now, no one is optimistic about us. We have to fight a battle to raise the reputation of the Acheron Palace. Yes, we know. This is the arrangement. Those elders nodded quickly. Indeed, they were not ordinary sacred cities. They were the hosts of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. They were the masters of the Holy Heavens Tao discussion. If they didn't perform well, it would be a slap to their faces. Therefore, they had to win the next battle. Moreover, they had to win beautifully. Soon a young figure walked up. He was from the younger generation. He was not older than 1,500 years old. Moreover, his cultivation had reached the sacred sovereign realm. He was much stronger than Lung Pao. With him taking action, they would definitely win. Moreover, it was a signal. It meant that the Acheron Palace wanted to regain their reputation. The other sacred cities would give them face. Therefore, the people from the Acheron Palace were not too worried. It was Shuang. Many people exclaimed when they saw that person walk out. I know this person. He is very strong. He will definitely win the competition. That's for sure. The Acheron Palace is going to show off. Shuang snorted coldly. His body was emitting the aura of the yellow springs and terrifying blood-red light. He wanted to suppress everyone. However, at this moment, the appearance of a figure caused the atmosphere of the entire scene to become tense again. Many people screamed. Heavens, it can't be. Did I see wrongly? That's right. It's that person. He actually appeared again. Chapter 42-24. Screams could be heard as they realized that Lin Xian had entered the arena again. Shui Ying's face darkened, and so did the people from Acheron Hall. Damn it, it's that brat again. Does he want to die? Some of the elders gritted their teeth in anger. The Silver Corpse Sage King opened his eyes, and there was a murderous intent in his eyes. To go against him, he was courting death. Sage King, don't worry. Shui Ying was definitely stronger than Lung Pao. Therefore, he would not lose this battle. That is, no one can go against our Yellow Springs Hall. Lin Wudi was such a genius. Wasn't he the same? Had he fallen? Anyone who goes against us will go to hell. Shui Ying's face darkened. Brat, it's you again. Alright, I wanted to kill you anyway. Since you're here, I'll take revenge for Lung Pao. I'll use your blood to pay tribute to his spirit. What's there to pay tribute to a lonely soul? If you're worried, I can send you to hell. Accompany him. Lin Xian sneered. Back then, the Silver Corpse Sage King had tried to kill him. This time, he would let the Silver Corpse Sage King know what pain was. He would kill the experts from Acheron Hall one by one. He would let the Silver Corpse Sage King see the geniuses that he had nurtured fall in front of him. What a sharp-tongued brat. I admit that you're powerful. However, Lung Pao lost because he was careless. Moreover, my strength is far above Lung Pao's. You have no chance of winning against me. Is that so? Lin Xian shook his head. You're too arrogant. I wanted to use only one hand, but it seems that I don't need to use that now. The surrounding people were going crazy when they heard this. Using only one hand? What a joke. Shuang was famous for his coldness and killing. His reputation was terrifying even among the sage sovereigns. As expected, Shuang revealed a cold smile when he heard this. You're really courting death. I don't know what you're relying on, but it's all over now. Boom. A blood-red rainbow instantly appeared in front of Lin Xian. With a palm strike, a blood-red sword slashed down from the sky. The aura emitted from it was extremely cold, causing the eyelids of the surrounding sacred venerates to twitch. Although this blood eagle was less than 1,500 years old, he was even more terrifying than some experts who were more than 2,000 years old. This was a true expert, a genius. Lin Xian struck out with the azure dragon seal to contend with it, and the two collided, tearing apart heaven and earth. Then the two figures quickly retreated. They stood at two different corners of the arena. Lin Xian laughed. You keep saying that you're strong, but from the looks of it, you're just SOSO. He was a little stronger than the cold-robed trash from before, but not by much. Shui Ying's face turned cold. To be honest, he could sense that the other party was not a sacred venerate. However, the other party's physique and strength were not any weaker than a Saint Venerable's. Was strange. He guessed that this kid must have some special body tempering method. Or perhaps it was a special kind of physique. Kid, you must have some special physique and bloodline that can make your physique comparable to a sacred venerable's. It's indeed rare. However, you're still a puny sacred venerable. A true sacred venerable not only had a strong physique, but also had a strong soul, divine ability, and law. Every one of them had surpassed a small saint. So, I'll let you see the power of a true sacred venerable. The law of blood and the law of yellow spring spread out from his body, forming two weapons in his hands. The yellow spring blood spear. The two short spears had a cold sharpness, like the fangs of an ancient savage beast. It was abnormally terrifying. As soon as the two weapons appeared, an extremely terrifying cold storm swept out in all directions. This caused those experts to frown. In the distance, Xin Jingxiu looked at the scene in Wushuang City, and she was also worried. On the other side, Murong Qingqing of Kunlun Pavilion's eyes flickered. Obviously they all knew how powerful Blood Eagle was. As soon as the short spears appeared, Blood Eagle grasped them. Then his aura became even more terrifying than before. He waved the spears gently. It was as if he had four heavens. The yellow spring gushed out. Under his feet, the water of the yellow spring spread out, completely covering the entire arena. In the next moment, his body merged with the water of the yellow spring, and he appeared behind Lin Xian in an instant. The short spears in his hands stabbed out fiercely. The void was torn apart. This attack was aimed at the back of Lin Xian's heart. If he was stabbed, he would definitely be seriously injured. A pair of dark golden wings appeared behind Lin Xian's back. An endless storm rose up, turning into wind blades and heavenly sabers, slashing towards the space behind him. The void behind him shattered in an instant as he clashed with the other party. A sonorous sound rang out, and endless flames appeared in all directions. Lin Xian used the unique skill of the winged dragons. Coupled with his law of wind, it was truly incomparably sharp. The moment they exchanged blows, it was earth-shattering. With the law of wind and lightning, Lin Xian's speed was extremely fast. On the other side, Shuang was not a speed expert, but with the water of the yellow spring, he could appear anywhere in the yellow spring. It could be said that his movement technique was unpredictable, like a messenger from hell. In an instant, the two of them exchanged hundreds of blows. It was just a matter of a blink of an eye. The surrounding people were shocked. The people of the Acheron Hall were also nervous. Damn it, this person was more powerful than they thought. He wondered if the Blood Eagle would be able to withstand it. This sword maniac was really powerful. He could exchange so many blows with Shuang. This time he would not create another miracle, right? Discussions broke out one after another. The corner of Guan Songhai's mouth curled up into a smile when he saw this. Although he had not known Lin Xian for a long time, he knew that Lin Xian's strength was very terrifying. He had even created many miracles. It should not be a problem to defeat Shuang. On the other side, in the space where the limitless sect was, Chao Tianqing's eyes flickered as he looked into the distance. Let me see how much your strength has grown while you've been gone. Obviously, he already knew Lin Xian's identity. He was looking forward to Lin Xian. On the field, the two of them exchanged blows fiercely. There was not a single space that was intact. Shui Ying's face was completely cold. Not being able to take down his opponent after hundreds of blows was already a slap to his face. He was the truly powerful lord of the great sage, so he was ready to launch a sure-kill attack. Blood mist, death of the yellow spring. As his voice fell, the law of the yellow spring filled the short spike in his hand, and endless blood flowed out. A terrifying killing intent shook the heavens and the earth. Not good. This was a lost art. The combination of two laws could increase the power of the attack by several times. Perhaps no one of the same level could withstand this attack. At this moment, many people were worried about Lin Xian. Chapter 42-25. Lin Xian's eyes also burst out with a piercing cold light. He took a deep breath, and the great dragon sword soul in his body roared. The dragon's breathing technique was used by him. A terrifying aura filled the air, as if the ancient dragons between heaven and earth had been resurrected. Because the surrounding people felt this aura, all of their expressions changed. Heavens, what a terrifying aura. What kind of bloodline did this kid have? At this moment, the expressions of the people from the three great dragons also changed drastically. They realized that the Dragon Dao aura that Lin Xian displayed was even stronger than before. Could it be that this kid was from the Emperor clan, the nest of 10,000 dragons? Under everyone's shocked gazes, the laws on Lin Xian's body quickly condensed. It formed sword chi accompanied by a cold voice. Sword kinesis technique. The sword kinesis technique of the sword dragons was already very powerful. At this moment, when it was used by Lin Xian, it was truly terrifying to the extreme. As tens of thousands of sword chi fell, the entire world was completely broken apart. It couldn't withstand those sword chi at all. It collided with the other party's divine ability. A violent explosion sounded, as if tens of thousands of beasts were fighting in the sky. That terrifying aura made everyone's scalp go numb. Even some powerful sacred venerables became incomparably solemn at this moment. So strong it was simply a battle between dragons and tigers. They didn't know who would win in the end. Discussions sounded one after another. Then they saw two figures emerge from the shattered branches that filled the sky. One was surrounded by sword light, like a sword god, unstoppable. The other was surrounded by the aura of the yellow spring and Shueisha. He kept retreating, shattering the void. Was the blood eagle pushed back? Heavens, he was even injured. Everyone saw that every time Shueying retreated, a crack would appear on his body. Obviously, he was at a disadvantage and was completely suppressed. How was this possible? The eyes of the experts of the Yellow Spring Hall almost popped out. Shueying was an expert that they had carefully selected to turn the tide. But now, he was actually suppressed by someone, and it was by that detestable kid from before. It was really hard for them to be confident. Lin Xian looked at the disheveled figure and a cold smile appeared on his face. You are nothing more than this. The Acheron Palace is nothing more than this. The surrounding people felt as if they had gone crazy. Countless cries of surprise rang out. At this moment, not only the heavenly wind world but also the surrounding worlds, the outer regions and even the distant starry skies. In the countless worlds of stars, the people who were watching through the array formations were all stunned. This young man actually dared to say such arrogant words. This was no longer just aimed at Shueying. Instead, it was a slap to the face of the entire Acheron Hall. The other party was provoking the holy city. When the people from the Acheron Hall heard this, their faces turned ashen as their killing intent surged. He wanted nothing more than to rush over and kill the other party. Shueying's face was also ferocious. He would not allow himself to be defeated like this. With a roar, an extremely cold and gloomy aura emanated from his body. In the next moment, his body began to change. Two types of precepts intertwined on his body. His body was completely enveloped by the picture of the underworld and became abnormally cold. A pair of blood-red wings appeared on his back. At this moment, it was as if he had really turned into an Azura that had walked out from hell. Brat, you should be proud to be able to make me reach this step. Shueying's voice rang out between heaven and earth. The surrounding people turned serious. Someone exclaimed. Could this be the legendary Acheron blood spirit body? This was also a type of super strong physique. It was very famous. Who would have thought that Shueying would be able to refine it? Did he use his final trump card? The people of the Acheron Hall heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed like Shueying would not be defeated. Shueying's face was incomparably cold. The killing intent on his body was not concealed at all. How could he possibly lose to a little saint? How could he possibly lose to a little saint? For someone as prideful as him, this was completely unbearable. Therefore he had to use his final trump card to kill the other party. Oh, a super strong physique? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He indeed felt that the strength of the other party's physique had far surpassed the previous one. However, he did not care at all. Looks like you still haven't given up. Since that's the case, I'll make you truly despair. Speaking of this, Lin Xian's aura changed again. The sword chi disappeared and was replaced by a violent aura. It was as if a supreme king had shrouded the entire area. Next, he was going to use the tiger demon fist. Bus. Shuang sneered. He stepped on the soles of his feet and soared into the sky, flying forward. After using his super strong physique, he wanted to engage in close combat with the other party. He wanted to tear the other party apart with his own hands. Lin Xian did not dodge and also rushed forward. It seemed like he wanted to engage in close combat. He had never been afraid of anyone when it came to physique. The surrounding people were stunned. It can't be. The two of them want to engage in close combat? Shuang relied on his super strong physique to engage in close combat. That sword maniac should be an expert in the sword Dao. However, his physique should not be too strong in close combat. Is he going to give up his advantage now? Everyone was puzzled. The people of the Acheron Hall also snorted. What a stupid kid. Let's see how he's going to die next. When Shuang saw this, he also smiled coldly. He did not know what was good for him. He stretched out his palm. Acheron palm. The Acheron Dao diagram in his palm flickered continuously. When he struck out with his palm, the powerful force directly pierced through the void. At this moment, the entire world shook violently. Tiger Demon Fist? Lin Xian, on the other hand, let out a roar. His palm suddenly turned black like a black tiger. There were extremely terrifying Dao runes flickering on it. The Tiger Demon Fist came from the mysterious world of Green Hill Cave. Previously, there was a palm that swept through everything. It was extremely powerful. Lin Xian's cultivation of the Tiger Demon Fist should be related to that long black arm. At this moment, his right hand was also incomparably black and emitted a strange light. A ferocious aura of a king emerged from it. The first style of the Tiger Demon Fist, Army Destroyer. When he struck out, it became the only thing in the world. An earth-shattering sound rang out. Everyone was stunned. The scene froze again. The incomparably powerful Shuang, who displayed his super strong physique, was penetrated by a punch. After a long time, the crowd exclaimed, "It can't be. Shuang's physique was destroyed. It can't be. That's the Acheron blood spirit body. That punch just now was too terrifying. It could definitely destroy a world. What kind of fist technique was that?" Exclamations and discussions sounded one after another. Blood Eagle's eyes were wide open. His original arrogance had turned into fear. He had already used his strongest trump card, but he still could not do anything to his opponent. Chapter 42-26. This scene caused an uproar in the world. Those from the Acheron Hall stood up and roared at the sky. "Damn it, this is impossible. I don't believe it. They must be crazy." Those around them took a deep breath. It seemed like they had to re-evaluate this person called Sword Maniac. His strength was far beyond their imagination. Lei Shenxing and those from the Myriad Demon City looked solemn, while those from the Great Desolate Mansion looked on with flickering eyes. One of the Taoists looked cold. He was Huang Shisan. He said coldly, "A rising star with decent strength, but he's no match for me. My only opponents are Fu Hongye and a few others." He was extremely domineering. On the other side, Wan Jianyi from the Myriad Sword Pavilion was glaring coldly. "Sword Maniac, you better not meet me. Otherwise, I'll let you know who's the real sword expert." Discussions broke out one after another. Those from the Acheron Hall were gritting their teeth so hard that they were about to break. The Silver Corpse Saint King said coldly, his eyes were also filled with killing intent. "Don't bother about this kid. He's too powerful. Someone will kill him sooner or later. Let's adjust our strategy." The elders under him started to adjust their strategy. On the other side, Lin Xian left the arena. He didn't target the Acheron Hall in the next few fights. However, Lei Shenxing and the Myriad Demon City were suppressed. Those who died in Lin Xian's hands were in trouble. Many of them gritted their teeth and wanted to kill Lin Xian. At this moment, the sword chi on Lin Xian's body was getting stronger and stronger. A ray of light fell from the sky like an immortal light. It turned into a scroll with the names of all the participants carved on it. Those who failed turned grayish-white, while the others emitted a golden glow. The ranking was based on the number of victories. The higher the ranking, the more victories one had. Lin Xian's Sword Maniac was also on the ranking. Countless people looked up to him. Most of those who were ranked at the top were sacred venerables. They were all very powerful sacred venerables. For example, Fu Hongye and the others were at the top of the ranking. Wan Jianyi and the others were slightly behind. However, someone exclaimed at this moment, because they realized that another person's name had changed. He had rushed to the top. He had obtained a dazzling result. 9 Qilin. How did his result become so powerful? That's right. He only had 10 hearts previously. Now he had 30 stars. Everyone cried out in surprise. They realized that the 9-headed Qilin had won a match, and that person had 30 stars. He had won 30 matches in a row. 9 Qilin's result. The 30 perfect victories that he represented were all given to the 9-headed Qilin. What's going on? Being able to win 30 matches in a row was enough to show that that person was very powerful. That was definitely a Saint Venerable. But to think that he would lose to the 9-headed Qilin. 9 Qilin was a genius, but he was a genius sacred venerables. Could it be that he was also a powerful dark horse? Seeing this, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes as a cold smile appeared on his face. The 9-headed Qilin might be strong, but it wasn't his turn to shine in the holy heavens. According to his guess, the person who was fighting with the 9-headed Qilin should be an expert that the demon city had secretly trained. At this moment, this powerful being had purposely given the battle results to the 9-headed Qilin. He wanted to push the 9-headed Qilin to a peak so that everyone could look up to it. Artificially created battle records? Lin Xian snorted coldly. As expected, some of the holy cities had already begun to use despicable means. The other holy cities naturally understood this point. Hence, after this incident, several holy cities adopted this method. After all, this was the purpose of secretly nurturing people. For example, Wang Jiani had won 2 matches in a row, and the 2 people he had defeated were both record holders of 30 consecutive victories. As a result, he now had a winning streak of 60 matches. His ranking instantly skyrocketed, placing him among the geniuses of the previous generation. In fact, he wasn't too far away from Fu Hongye, Huang Shisan, and the others. Countless people started to congratulate him. Many of them laughed and said that the 9th young master was indeed very strong and had unparalleled talent. If this continued, his future achievements would be limitless. That's right. The 9th young master was just a small saint. Once he became a sacred sovereign, his strength would undergo a tremendous change. In the future we would have to rely on the 9th young master. These people were all followers of the 9th young master. The 9-headed Qilin laughed after hearing this. He was like a supreme immortal god looking down on the world. He made people look up to him. However, at this moment, a cold and mocking voice was heard. Do you really think you're a big shot? Why don't you think about how you got your battle records? Do you have the face to stand in such a position? As soon as the voice was heard, everyone's expression changed. Although they knew that there must be some tricks behind this, they didn't dare to say it out loud. But no one dared to say it out loud. Wouldn't that be slapping the demon city's face? As expected, the faces of the people from the demon city darkened. The 9-headed Qilin snorted coldly. Who dares to talk about me behind my back? Get out here. Let's see if I don't kill you. Is that so? Are you very strong? I'm right here. Try and kill me. On an empty arena, Lin Xian walked up and looked at the 9-headed Qilin. Come on, 9th young master. Your ranking is so high, way higher than mine. I challenge you now. Do you dare? When the surrounding people saw this, they were stunned. Because they realized that the person who came up was the sword fanatic. Heavens, is this death god here again? It can't be. Didn't he go against the Acheron Hall previously? Is he here to slap the demon city's face now? Can he really leave alive after offending so many saint cities? You guys don't know this, right? This sword fanatic killed the 9-headed Qilin when he first came to the heavenly wind world. Now he's here purely to suppress the 9-headed Qilin. What? Is there such a thing? The crowd was shocked and started discussing. When the 9-headed Qilin saw the other party, his face turned ugly. Damn it. He would never forget this person. He was the one who killed him. To think that he would dare to come out now. Damn it. The 9-headed Qilin gritted his teeth. The eyes of the other powerful people from the demon city lit up. This is great. This is a good chance. Let's kill him quickly. Some of them stood up. Lin Xian was not afraid. Why, 9-headed Qilin, you don't dare to come out? Since you don't dare, you can kowtow to me and beg for mercy. I'll spare your life if I'm in a good mood. Lin Xian's voice was loud and clear. It spread across the world. Even the people at the extraterritorial stand heard it. They took in a cold breath. That's too arrogant. The 9-headed Qilin snorted and said, Your battle record is too low. I don't want to fight with you. Lin Xian laughed when he heard that. My record is low? Yes, I only have a 20-match winning streak now, but so what? This record was won by my own hands match after match. Among them I've killed more than 10 Saint Venerables. What about you? What's your battle record? Don't you know how many battles you've won? The person who lost to you is a secret expert that your Thousand Demon City has been nurturing. He pretended to lose to you. Do you really think that you're a peerless expert? Chapter 42-27. Lin Xian's words were filled with disdain. Nine-headed Qilin almost vomited blood when he heard it. The others were shocked when they heard it as well. The people from Demon City snorted. Do you want to die? We'll make sure you die a horrible death today. They were furious because this was something that every holy city had silently agreed to. However, Lin Xian did not know what was good for him. Since he did not follow the rules, there was no need for him to exist. The other experts from the holy city also had cold killing intent in their eyes. They also felt that this was a good opportunity to kill Lin Xian because his winning streak was not very high. He had only won 20 matches. However, half of them were obtained by killing Saint Sovereigns. This meant that the Saint Sovereigns from the holy city were killed by Lin Xian the moment they attacked. If such a person did not go out, more Saint Sovereigns would fall in the future. The people from Great Desolation Mansion also lost 2 Saint Sovereigns. Hence, their eyes were filled with killing intent. Someone gritted his teeth and said, "Send out our hunters to kill this kid. I don't want to see him again." The other elders also nodded. However, at this moment, a figure stood out. "I don't think we need to do anything. This kid is not ordinary. Let Demon City deal with him." Hearing this, the elders turned their heads. When they saw the figure, they frowned. "Nine Nether, this is not your style of speaking." This man was called Nine Nether. He was very powerful. His original form was an earth dragon. He said, "I know this person. He is more terrifying than you can imagine." "Oh, you know him? Tell us, who is he?" These people were shocked. Until now, they still did not know the identity of this sword maniac. Nine Nether said, "I don't know who he is, but I have seen him in the Grotto Heaven test. He passed the test and entered the vast Grotto Heaven. He can be said to be a top genius." "What? He could enter the secret realm created by the vast Grotto Heaven?" The surrounding people were stunned. This secret realm was not a place that ordinary people could enter. Only top geniuses could enter. For example, Nine Nether had entered. No wonder this sword maniac was so terrifying. He was an expert of this level. Some of the elders took a deep breath. If that was the case, it would not be easy to get rid of this sword maniac. At the very least, it had to be an expert at Nine Nether's level, and there was a risk involved. Therefore, they nodded in agreement. "All right, we'll sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. Let the people from the Myriad Demon City make a move." At the same time, the 10,000 Swords Pavilion, Limitless Sect, and the others also received the news. Among them, one Jenny said, "Old Jiang, don't worry. Although he has also joined that Grotto Heaven, I am not afraid." That was because all the top experts had already become Saint Venerables after coming out, but the other party had not. This shows that his talent is no match for mine. Even if he's lucky enough to not die this time, as long as he meets me, he'll definitely lose. On the Demon City side, Nine Heads Qilin didn't even enter the arena. No matter how arrogant he was, he didn't dare to because he knew that he didn't have the strength to face the other party. Therefore, he would not let the other party continue to live and be arrogant. They sent out a secretly trained expert who was also a hunter. It was a mysterious figure in a blue robe. He came to the arena, and the blue saber in his hand emitted a piercing light. After coming up, he did not say a word and directly charged towards Lin Xian. With a slash of the saber, the terrifying laws were vast and mighty. It was like a vast ocean, causing the wind and clouds in all directions to change. What a terrifying saber technique. The surrounding spectators' expressions changed when they sensed the terror of this saber. Obviously, this was also an expert and a Saint Venerable expert at that. Lin Xian sneered. "Nine-headed Qilin, you're really useless. You don't even have the courage to come up. Forget it, then you're not worthy of being my opponent at all. As for this person, he should be a hunter from the Myriad Demon City. You want to kill me? But that's impossible." He snorted coldly. Thunder surged from his body and surged over from all directions, turning into a huge thunder tiger. It stood indomitable and charged towards the saber light in the sky. As soon as he came up, he used the tiger demon fist. Boom! A terrifying aura erupted. The battle between the two was extremely terrifying. The saber light collided with the phantom of the demonic tiger, tearing apart the 9 heavens and 10 earths. In the next moment, the saber directly split the phantom of the tiger, and then fiercely slashed towards Lin Xian. This person is so terrifying. His strength is above the sword fanatics. It's over. It seems that this sword fanatic is really in danger this time. that's for sure. He recklessly went against the sacred city. His ending will definitely be very miserable. Everyone was discussing animatedly. Lin Xian sneered. Did they send out an even stronger person? He clenched the tiger demon fist and quickly rushed forward. Boom, boom, boom. The army destroyer struck out, causing heaven and earth to tremble. It directly shattered that ray of light. Then he charged forward and continuously collided with the opponent's saber. Every collision. It was like a lightning tribulation. The killing intent in the blue-robed man's eyes was really terrifying. His saber technique was extremely terrifying. Every slash could split open a world. He and Lin Xian entered the battle. The two of them exchanged more than 30 moves and they were evenly matched. Suddenly, at this moment, the blue-robed man revealed a sinister smile and changed his saber technique. Endless blue laws erupted from his saber technique and swept towards Lin Xian. See Demon Saber. As his cold voice fell, a blue saber light slashed down from the sky. When it came to Lin Xian's side, it suddenly split open. The violent aura of destruction filled heaven and earth. At this moment, countless large cracks appeared in the entire world and spread towards the surroundings. What a terrifying destructive power. This was a slash of destruction. Countless people gasped. They felt that the sword fanatic couldn't block this attack at all. Murong Qingqing and the others were also nervous. Damn it, the speed of the change of this saber was really beyond everyone's expectations. Even Guan Songhai revealed a look of worry. On the other side, Nine Nether, Wan Jianyi, and the others revealed a cold smile. It should be settled. As expected, he couldn't be compared to them. Chao Tianxing looked at this scene calmly. The blue storm in front of him gradually disappeared. In the next moment, countless cracks appeared. However, Lin Xian's figure had already disappeared. The surrounding people were shocked when they saw this scene. Could it be that he was killed? The beasts of the monster city also snorted coldly. Needless to say, he must have been killed. Moreover, his heart and soul were destroyed. Not even a drop of blood was left. This was the result of going against the monster city. Countless people's faces instantly turned pale. He was too strong. The strength of the holy city wasn't something that a single person could provoke. Chapter 42-28. Is it over? How pitifully weak. Unable to withstand a single blow. The blue-robed man sneered as he sheathed his saber. He turned around to leave, but he was stunned the next moment. The reason for that was because he could sense a strange energy appearing in the air. The smiles of the people around him froze. What's going on? What's that energy? They looked around frantically, and they saw a bolt of lightning tearing through the void and walking out from the spatial crack. A dragon's roar that made people tremble rang out. At the same time there was a cold voice. The show has just begun and you want to leave already? How is that possible? Countless people looked at the scene dumbfounded. The people of Demon City exclaimed. Is that kid, he's still alive? No way, the Saint Sovereign would have died from that attack. How could he have survived? That energy is the energy of a dragon. Could he be one of the Dragon Clan's people? What's going on? The people around them discussed among themselves, and many of them looked at the Dragon Clan in the distance. The three Dragons Clan's people also had strange expressions on their faces. To be honest, they did not know who the other party was. However, they did not believe that such an attack could kill the sword maniac. After all, this guy had obtained the blue dragon horn. Is he still alive? Even many of the saint rulers were shocked. To be honest, they had made a mistake in their judgment. What a mysterious person. Liwa Sage King was shocked. Silver Corpse Sage King's face turned cold. Sky Soaring Sage King's face also darkened. He transmitted his voice and gave the order to kill. On the other side, Peerless Sage King smiled. He now knew who the person was. Sure enough, his junior brother still came. He did not immediately reveal his true identity, but hid himself to fight against the Sage Kings. Interesting, it's getting more and more interesting. You still alive? Wan Jianyi, Nine Nether, and the others' faces turned ugly. Damn it, they had mocked the other party for being weak and unworthy of being their opponent. But now they had made a mistake in their judgment. It was a slap to their faces. This made them very unhappy. The blue-robed man's eyes narrowed. He was very confident in the power of his attack. He didn't believe that there was anyone who could stop him. Even if there was, it couldn't be the person in front of him. However, the other party had survived, and the aura on his body had become even more tyrannical than before. Could it be that the other party wasn't injured before? When he thought of this possibility, his heart was in turmoil. Could it be that he had a top-grade saint artifact for defense? Damn brat, what did you do just now? Was it a Saint King level weapon? You're cheating. The blue-robed man let out a roar, and the others were also in an uproar. The eyes of the people from the demon city lit up. Yes, that's right, he was cheating. He was asking the referee elder to probe his defense. When these words were spoken, everyone was shocked. Could it be that the other party had really used a Saint King level weapon to defend himself? Hearing this, Lin Xian laughed. I cheated? Truly despicable and shameless. It's fine if your myriad demon city is despicable, but now you actually want to pour dirty water on me. Very well, the 3 judging elders, please. In the sky, 3 elders appeared, and they were divided into 3 sides. Their expressions were incomparably cold. To be honest, they were still very resistant towards Lin Xian. After all, one of the judging elders had already been killed because of Lin Xian. Therefore, when facing the other party, they were very careful. Lin Xian said, "Dare I ask the 3 judging elders? Just now, did you sense a Saint King level aura?" The 3 of them looked at each other, and then one of the elders said coldly, "We didn't sense it." The other 2 nodded. "We also didn't sense a Saint King level aura. Thank you for upholding justice," Lin Xian said with a fist and palm salute. Then he revealed a smile. "You heard it, I didn't use any Saint King level saint artifacts. You're just too confident in yourself. You think you can hurt me with your strength? What a joke. I'm not someone you can imagine." Lin Xian's eyes revealed a hint of arrogance. This scene made the blue-robed man vomit blood. Damn it, how could it be? Was the other party's strength already so strong? Damn it, I don't believe it. Blue Ocean One Blade. The blue-robed man slashed out with his long blade. With a clang between heaven and earth, crazy laws descended. It turned into an even more frightening blade light. Earlier, it had been a destructive blade light. However, at that moment it was extremely sharp. It was capable of slicing anything in half. Lin Xian snorted and stretched out his palm. It turned black again. Tiger Demon Fist, second style, sky-shattering. As soon as his voice fell, the sky fell and the earth cracked. Countless large cracks spread out in all directions with him as the center. It was as if the world was about to end. This scene was really too terrifying. It was even more terrifying than the previous blade. Suddenly, the blue blade light in the sky was enveloped by the cracks, and there was a cracking sound. Then it was torn apart. Was the peerless blade broken? Countless people were in an uproar. No one expected Lin Xian to be so strong after showing his true strength. How could it be? I must be dreaming. The blue-robed man's pupils shrank. He knew the power of the blade. Even if Lin Xian could block it, he would be injured. However, the other party had easily broken through this set. What? Are you shocked? Surprised? Lin Xian sneered. Don't worry, the more shocking part is yet to come. At this point he took a deep breath and threw out a punch. Tiger Demon Fist, third style, soul suppression. Another punch was thrown out. The black fist seemed to have turned into a black tiger. It roared between heaven and earth, and the aura it emitted distorted the void. Feeling the terrifying power surging towards him, the blue-robed man's pupils shrank. The blue-robed man's pupils shrank. Damn it. He frantically retreated, but discovered that it was already too late. He could only passively block and use the long blade in his hand to the extreme. Streaks of terrifying saber light shot out one after another. Every single one of them was as terrifying as heavenly thunder. There were tens of thousands of them in the sky, dancing wildly and slashing towards the sky. The momentum was mighty. It was incomparable. I don't believe that I can't cut it. He roared at the sky. At this moment, it was as if he wanted to open the sky. Boom, boom, boom. However, the Tiger Demon Fist was really too terrifying. It could really suppress everything. The blade lights that filled the sky were all shattered. A shadow of a ferocious tiger pressed down on the blue-robed man. No. The blue-robed man's pupils shrank. He wanted to escape, but it was too late. In the next moment he was enveloped by the tiger phantom. Boom. The entire ancient arena let out a violent roar. Countless cracks appeared around the arena and spread towards the surroundings. At this moment the arena was almost split apart, but it endured in the end. The surrounding people were blasted away by the nomological storm. They all held up their holy domains and frantically resisted. Chapter 42-29. When everything disappeared, everyone looked carefully. In the next moment, they saw that there was at least a shadow of a black tiger that suppressed everything. Below it was a seahorse that was close to 1,000 meters long. At this moment it was crushed into two halves. Blue blood dyed the ground red. The blue-robed man's true form was actually a seahorse. It was unbelievable. Damn it, how could it be? The people of Demon City looked terrible. Many of them stood up and roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. What, you finally showed your true form? You still dare to say that you're not from Demon City? Damn it, the seahorse kept roaring and trying to break free from the seal. However, it was suppressed. The people of Demon City were also roaring. Damn it, let go of him. Lin Xian glanced at them and said, So you admit that he's from Demon City? The people around were also shocked. That's not right. This guy didn't come from Demon City. I remember that he walked out from the crowd. Yeah, he didn't emit any demonic aura from the beginning. You hit it well. I thought that he was a human expert. That means that he's really from Demon City. And it seems that he was secretly trained. Demon City actually hid such an expert. What's their purpose? Could it be that he's really a legendary hunter? Exclamations and discussions could be heard. The people of Demon City looked terrible. They all came back. An elder snorted coldly. He told the young geniuses to shut up. They were so angry that they gritted their teeth. On the other hand, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Why aren't you roaring anymore? Don't you want to save his life? Kid, what are you trying to do? Finally, an elder stood up and said coldly. Lin Xian said, It's simple. I just want to know what's the relationship between him and Demon City. Alright, I can tell you that he's from Demon City. However, we didn't plan to let him participate. So, he hid his identity and came here secretly. We didn't know about it before. Now that I've told you his identity, you can let him go. As soon as these words were spoken, the surrounding people were in an uproar. This person really was an expert from the Demon City. Lin Xian chuckled when he heard this. Very good, he finally admitted it. He waved his hand, and the black tiger phantom roared and tore the seahorse's body into pieces. Even its soul was swallowed by the tiger. The enormous body shattered and disappeared. Damn it, you actually dared to kill him. The elder of the Thousand Demon City was furious, and his body emitted boundless cold killing intent. Lin Xian sneered. Why wouldn't I dare? He killed me, so why wouldn't I kill him? Did I promise you that I wouldn't kill him? Damn, the Thousand Demon City elder was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. He realized that Lin Fan really didn't say anything, which meant that he had been conned. Damn brat, just you wait. If there's a chance, I definitely won't let you off. Are you threatening me? Very well, I'm going to go against you guys today. If any of you from the 10,000 goblins dare to come out, I will kill you. I want to see what qualifications you have to threaten me today. Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold killing intent. The Soaring Sky Saint King was one of the people who had participated in the hunt for him back then. How could he let the Thousand Demon City off? Lin Xian's voice was incomparably cold, causing everyone's scalps to go numb. The Thousand Demon City elders snorted coldly. How could this brat control the competition? Therefore they did not care about this at all. However, they soon realized that they had been mistaken. The other party had grasped the laws of wind and thunder, and his speed was extremely fast. No matter who it was, as long as it was someone from the Thousand Demon City, the other party would immediately enter the arena and kill his opponents with the fastest speed possible. Just like that, in the blink of an eye, 8 experts from the Thousand Demon City had died in the hands of the other party. Among them there were even 2 saints. This caused the Thousand Demon City to go crazy, and their hearts to bleed. The Soaring Sky Saint King's eyes shone with a sharp blade light as he glared at Lin Xian. The void around Lin Xian was shattering continuously. He could feel the might of the Saint King. What? The Saint King wants to strike? Bring it on. Didn't you 3 great sage kings join forces to kill Lin Wudi before? Since you can kill a genius once, you can continue to do whatever you want. Lin Xian's voice resonated throughout the entire universe. Come at me. Lin Xian's voice resonated throughout the universe. The Soaring Sky Saint King's face turned cold. He snorted coldly and retracted his gaze. On the other side, the Silver Corpse Saint King's face was also ugly. Damn it. I can't let him continue to be arrogant. Old Jianghu from the Thousand Demon City gritted his teeth. They asked who had the confidence to kill him. Everyone thought about it and shook their heads. To be honest, they did not have the confidence. However, at this moment a figure walked out. I'll kill him. This person's voice was abnormally strong and carried a terrifying power. This was a demonic ape, an earth demonic ape. It had boundless strength and was a mutated species of heaven and earth. His strength had reached the level of a saint. The Soaring Sky Saint King frowned slightly. According to the information we just received, this person is very strong. He had joined the Grotto Heavens test and even succeeded. I'm afraid his strength is not weaker than Wan Jianyi and the others. Hearing this, the surrounding elders of the Thousand Demon City sucked in a breath of cold air. Was the other party so strong? No wonder he could kill so many experts. The Earth Demonic Ape frowned as well. However, he still said, I have some confidence. After knowing that Lin Xian's situation was so terrifying, this fellow still wanted to make a move. One could imagine how terrifying his strength was. However, the Sage King shook his head. Don't make a move first. There's no need to reveal our trump cards in advance for this fellow. Let's wait. Following this, the Thousand Demon City side actually did not send out anyone. This truly shocked everyone. Could it be that the Thousand Demon City was afraid? One person was actually suppressing a saint city. If they did not see it with their own eyes, they would not believe it. Lin Xian also did not make a move. He even stared at the Thousand Demon City's side. As long as the other party made a move, he would immediately make a move. Being entangled by such a person, the Thousand Demon City felt very sullen. They were probably already the laughingstock of the world. Damn it. Those people gritted their teeth. The soaring sky Saint King's eyes were also cold. To be honest, he thought that the other party would tactfully leave to provoke the other saint cities. That way they could send out people to fight. However, it seemed like the other party was really going against them. He did not participate in any battles and only stared at them. It was useless no matter what he did. He really did not know what was good for him. Then I'll play with him. The soaring sky Saint King coldly snorted. He called Sikong Lai over and let him go. Hearing this, the elders were stunned. Was the Sage King going to use his trump card? No matter, he had to use it anyway. This matter was also a difficult opponent. It was best to let Sikong Lai take action. This way, the world would know the consequences of offending the Thousand Demon City. Those elders nodded. Then they opened a spatial gate and walked in. Not long after they came out. A young man followed behind them. This person had a pale face and wore a black robe. He had a cold smile on his face. His long and narrow eyes shone brightly. Is it my turn to go on stage so soon? Chapter 42:30. This time there's a reckless guy who dares to provoke us. He has already killed many saint sovereigns and has set his eyes on us. He has disgraced our sacred city. Go down and kill him. Hearing this, Sikong Lai was stunned. There's such a guy? Who is it? Fu Hongya Huangshi-san? He frowned slightly. In his opinion, only such a person could give the sacred city such a headache. However, the elders shook their heads slightly. No, it's not him. That guy. He pointed at a figure in the distance. So young? Sikong Lai frowned slightly. The next moment he was even more stunned. Old man, are you sure? This guy isn't even a saint sovereign. Indeed he isn't. However, he has already killed 4 of our saint sovereigns and 10 peak minor saints. All of them died in his hands. Do you think he's weak? Sikong Lai took a deep breath. He's so powerful. I finally know why I summoned him. I know. Leave it to me. Sikong Lai nodded. The next moment he floated forward. Look, someone from the demon city has come out again. It seems like they're not going to tolerate it anymore. Countless people exclaimed. Everyone's gazes shifted over. Lin Xian also flew up. Again. Is he courting death? He landed on the arena, looked at the figure in front of him and shook his head. Get lost. You're too young. You're no match for me. Kid, you're very arrogant. No one has ever dared to talk to me like that. However, you're too reckless. You'll die if I attack you. Then he rushed forward. Lin Xian snorted and threw out a punch. It directly enveloped Sikong Lai. The next moment, a thunderous sound was heard. Sikong Lai's body was blasted away. It can't be. He's killed in one move. The surrounding people were stunned. What's the demon city doing? Why did they send such a weak person? Could it be that they were planning to wear down the sword fanatic by taking turns to tire him out? The surrounding people were also discussing. Lin Xian was also stunned. It shouldn't be. What the hell is the demon city doing? The next moment he was stunned. The others exclaimed. Look, what's that? They saw that the body that had been split into 4 pieces did not die. Instead, it quickly reassembled and then 4 figures stood up. Every one of them looked like Spacetime Hunter, and the other party had actually split into 4. Was it a doppelganger? Many people cried out in alarm. This wouldn't do either. This type of doppelganger couldn't be resisted at all. After the 4 of them came out in an instant, they charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian coldly snorted and threw out another punch. However, in the next moment he was surprised to find that the strength of these 4 people was actually the same, blocking his attack. However, his power erupted and blasted the 4 of them away once again. This time even more figures stood out. 4 of them were split in half. In other words, all 8 of them stood up. What was going on? A few holy city elders cried out in alarm. This wasn't a clone but rather a split. Every time his body was destroyed, he would be able to form a completely new body. Could it be that he was the Spacebreaker beast? When these words were spoken, the other elders were also shocked. They had long heard that there were thousands of demons in the Thousand-Demon City, and it was incomparably strange. There was a type of demon beast that had this kind of splitting ability called the Spacebreaker beast. Now it seemed that it was this person. The Spacebreaker beast could form a new body when its body was injured. It was simply immortal and indestructible. Indeed, it was basically impossible to kill it. As long as a bit of its flesh and blood was left, it could fully grow and instantly recover. Unless one's strength surpassed everything and could destroy the Spacebreaker beast completely, not leaving a single drop of blood. However, in order to do this, one had to be an extremely terrifying existence. At least a peak Saint Venerable or Saint King. It was impossible for such a person to appear on this battlefield. For a moment, everyone cried out in alarm, not knowing how Lin Xian was going to block it. Lin Xian also frowned. A Spacebreaker beast, huh? The other party's bloodline was really strange. Sikong Lai revealed a smile and said, "Useless brat, this will only increase my strength." Is that so? Of the 8 of you, one must be the main body, right? If I kill your main body, won't you die without a doubt? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a trace of shocking light. In the next moment, his gaze became dim. However, he soon discovered that the 8 of them did not have a main body at all. Their main bodies and clones were all the same. This made him frown. Were they all the same? Were there really no clones? Sikong Lai, who was opposite him, laughed loudly. How could this brat have already found out? Indeed, any one of me can be the main body. What can you use to kill me? Everyone was stunned when they heard this. He was too strong. He was really immortal and indestructible. How could there be such an existence? Unless there was a heaven-defying difference in cultivation. However, Spacetime Lai was a Saint Venerable, and Lin Xian was only a small saint. The difference between the two of them could not be made up. Now that he had such a bloodline, it was impossible to defeat him. It seemed that the Sword Maniac had really lost this time. Yes, but with the Sword Maniac's strength, it was still possible for him to escape now. However, failure was inevitable. With this failure, the Sword Maniac would have the Spacebreaker beast to hunt him down in the future. He would soon be eliminated. Discussions sounded one after another. They did not expect the tables to turn. The Sword Maniac fell into a predicament so quickly. However, they still underestimated the determination of the Demon City. Not only did they want Lin Xian to fail, but they also wanted to kill Lin Xian completely. In the arena, 8 Spacetime Hunters took action, attacking Lin Xian from 8 directions. Lin Xian quickly dodged. However, 8 against 1 he could not dodge in the end. He could not easily use the Void Escape. So he had no choice but to slap out with his palm. The Azure Dragon Seal instantly sent a few of them flying, and new people appeared from the broken bodies. In the end, there were already hundreds of figures standing in the arena. Each of their auras was incomparably strong. It made people's scalps tingle. The more they fought, the stronger they became. How could they fight? Boy, tremble and despair. This is the result of daring to go against the Demon City. The Spacetime Hunters walked over with a sinister smile. More than 100 figures covered the sky and earth. Lin Xian's expression was cold. Kill. With a roar, he formed a seal with his palm. Between heaven and earth, thunder filled the air, completely enveloping the entire space. He did not believe that he could not kill his opponent this time. The people who were pierced by the thunder quickly changed, and in the end there were more than 10 million of them. Damn it, even the thunder could not kill them. Lin Xian's face was completely gloomy. Now it seemed that only the power of the great dragon sword soul could be used. However, if he could not hit them in one strike, it would be useless. After all, any body could continue to split, which meant that he had to think of a way. He had to catch them all in one fell swoop. Otherwise he would be in danger. Chapter 42-31. In everyone's opinion, Lin Xian was doomed. In fact, Lin Xian had indeed fallen into an extremely dangerous situation. However, he did not panic. At this moment he was accumulating his strength. He wanted to defeat all of his opponents in one fell swoop. Facing thousands of figures, he fought and retreated. It seemed that he could not hold on any longer. However, a trace of golden light flickered in his eyes. He was using his ocular technique, but he was secretly using it. Moreover, it was not very powerful. He wanted to subtly influence his opponent's soul and not let him discover it. Now that his opponent had the upper hand, he must be very arrogant. He wanted to make use of this point to make the other party arrogant to the extreme. He wanted to make his opponent completely crazy. As expected, seeing Lin Xian retreating, Xikong Lai's lips curled into a sinister smile. Kid, go to hell. Thousands of figures all rushed over, completely enveloping Lin Xian. The entire arena was also completely covered. These figures seemed to have turned into locusts, lying on Lin Xian's body, and began to madly absorb Lin Xian's power to strengthen these figures. Lin Xian could not move. He could feel his power draining away, but he smiled. Great, it's finally working. These people all rushed over without a care for anything else. In the next moment, the light flickered. The great dragon sword soul roared and countless sword chi formed a sword Dao world. It directly enveloped these people completely. In an instant, those figures were attacked and their bodies cracked. However, the sinister voice said, "It's useless. You can't kill me. You'll only make me more and more." Lin Xian did not say anything. He activated the great attack sword soul with all his strength and slashed wildly. Gradually, Spacetime Hunter's expression changed. Damn it, what's going on? He found that his figure had fallen into a pool of blood. Before he could reform a new body, he was destroyed again. Moreover, these sword chi carried a biting cold aura that prevented those wounds from healing. He found that his figure was gradually decreasing. Damn it, his opponent still had such a biting cold sword chi. He wanted to retreat. However, he found that the entire Sword Dao world had already enveloped everything. He had no way out. What shocked him even more was that his entire body had entered the sword to the world. Not a single part of him was left behind. How could this be? He couldn't believe it. No matter how arrogant he was, he would still be careful and leave one of them outside just in case. But now he didn't stay. This was too surprising. Damn it, what's going on? When he saw the strange light in Lin Xian's eyes, he knew he was in trouble. You used an eye technique on me. That's right. Looks like you're not that stupid. I did use an eye technique on you. Therefore, you won't be able to escape. Damn it, I'll fight you to the death. Spacetime Hunter roared. Since he had no way out, he could only fight with his back against the wall. Countless terrifying laws appeared on his body, and the remaining figures charged over together. However, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Everything was over. Endless sword chi exploded, and everything was over very quickly. Everyone was wiped out, and their blood was wiped out by him. Not a single drop of blood flowed out. At this moment, the terrifying Spacebreaker beast was completely slain by him. The spectators outside were also stunned when they saw this scene. They only saw countless figures pouncing toward Lin Xian, and then sword chi surged out of Lin Xian's body, completely enveloping the entire arena. After that, they couldn't see anything. What kind of battle had happened? How was it? The people from the demon city sneered. How dare you question the strength of the lashing Spacebreaker beast? You really don't know what's good for you. Indeed, they weren't worried at all. Only those old monsters could kill the lashing Spacebreaker beast. No one in the younger generation could do it. But when the sword chi that filled the sky disappeared, the surrounding people were stunned. What was going on? They found that there was only one person in the arena, and that was Lin Xian. Spacetime rift, then where did he go? No way, did he hide? Exclamations rang out. The people from the demon city were also shocked and doubtful. They roared, "Kid, where did you take Xikong Lai?" Hearing this, Lin Xian smiled. He had already been sent to hell. What? That's impossible. Everyone was stunned. The people from the demon city were even more shocked. Soaring Sky Sank King also opened his eyes. His gaze was rarely seen in all directions as a huge soul pressure pressed down on them. It seemed that he was searching, but not long after, his expression became incomparably ugly. What was going on? He really couldn't sense Spacetime Lai's aura. Could it be that he was really killed by him? The three referee elders also descended from the sky and began to search the surroundings. Then they said that Spacetime Lai's life was unknown. This battle was won by the sword maniac. His life was unknown. Everyone gasped. That was a Spacebreaker beast. It could split into countless bodies. How could he disappear? Now that he wasn't here, there was only one possibility, and that was that he had been killed. Not even a drop of blood was left. Thinking of this possibility, everyone's scalps went numb. What kind of method did this sword maniac use to be so powerful? Great. Murong Qingqing, Shinjingqiu, and the others all heaved a sigh of relief. Wang Jiani also frowned. The other party's sword chi was so strange. As an expert of the sword Dao, he felt a sense of threat. The people of Demon City were completely stunned. I'll fight it out with you. Many people rushed out. Lin Xian sneered. Fine, I'll send you to hell together. These people stopped in midair. They didn't dare to fight with the other party at all. For a moment they couldn't advance or retreat. They were in an abnormally sorry state. A bunch of trash. You don't even have the courage to fight with me. Get lost. Lin Xian roared and looked disdainfully at the surroundings. Everyone returned. Flying Sky Saint King coldly shouted, all the people of Demon City had returned. After that, they didn't make another move because this time, they were truly frightened. Originally, even the Divine King thought that the Spacebreaker Beast's attack was absolutely foolproof. But now, the Spacebreaker Beast was actually killed. Were they going to send out a stronger trump card? They weren't confident. So for a period of time, the people of Demon City seemed to be asleep. No one spoke and no one attacked. A man and a sword suppressed Shin Cheng's head. This was probably the first time in history. The surrounding Demon City's people also had solemn expressions. Until now, they still didn't know which faction this person belonged to. However, the other party's methods were too terrifying. Demon City was actually afraid of him. As for the other Demon City's people, many of them also died in the hands of the other party. However, everyone realized that the other party didn't attack all the Demon City's people. Instead, he attacked a few Demon City's people. Could it be that this person had a grudge with those Demon City's people? In an instant they thought of a possibility. Chapter 4232. Could it be that this matter was really related to Peerless City? Everyone started guessing. Wuxia City dares to go against us? The Acheron Palace's Silver Corpse Sage King received the news and his eyes flashed coldly. Looks like it's time for us to send our hunters to teach Wuxia City a lesson. They sent out their own hunters. Even the great desolate mansion sent out their hunters. In an instant, these hunters moved in the dark, keeping an eye on Wuxia City. Soon someone exclaimed. Wuxia City also felt the pressure. People like Shi Bufan and Wang Xiaofeng from Stillwater Sky City were being hunted. Retreat quickly. Fu Hongye shouted coldly, telling them not to fight back. These people had no choice but to retreat. Even Ghostly was severely injured by a slash. In an instant, countless people were in an uproar. They could see that someone was targeting Wuxia City. Lin Xian naturally saw it too. A cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes. These people were so reckless. It seemed like he had to continue. But before that, he had to do something because he had killed a lot of people. Therefore, at this moment he had a lot of winning streaks. He had won 50 matches in a row. This was an equally dazzling record. So once he appeared, he would be targeted by countless people. Although he was confident in himself, this was a Dao debate after all. There might be a terrifying expert. So Lin Xian decided to give away his winning streak first. Lin Xian's eyes flashed, waiting for an opportunity. Soon he sent a message to Murong Qingqing. Murong Qingqing smiled and walked down while Lin Xian went up. In the surroundings, those people were all stupefied when they saw this. It couldn't be, right? This guy was actually going to make a move against the favored daughter of heaven? Even the people from Demon City were stunned. This guy was going to attack Kunlun Pavilion? It shouldn't be. Wasn't he from Wuxia City? Could it be that their judgment was wrong? The people from Kunlun Pavilion were also stunned. But soon they widened their eyes in disbelief. After Lin Xian went up, he said calmly. So it's Fairy Murong. I've heard of your name. Now that I've met you, you're really amazing. I hope that Fairy will show mercy. Murong Qingqing threw out a palm strike. Lin Xian didn't resist and immediately retreated. Fairy's palm strength is so good that I am ashamed of my inferiority. Then he turned around and walked down the arena. Everyone was dumbfounded and I cursed the heavens. What was the meaning of this? Was he admitting defeat just like that? Damn it, he was giving away his winning streak. Some of the sacred cities instantly understood what was going on, and they gnashed their teeth in anger. They couldn't say anything. They were willing to do this kind of thing. Moreover, Lin Xian made them vomit blood. Lin Xian said, I learned it from Wan Yaoqing. The people from the Demon City were about to go mad with anger. Just like that, Murong Qingqing obtained Lin Xian's 50-match winning streak and instantly entered the 100-match winning streak. This was a very difficult task. After all, everyone here was an expert and a genius. A 50-match winning streak was already heaven-defying. A 200-match winning streak could be said to be a legend. At this moment, Murong Qingqing completed a 100-match winning streak. She was the first to do so. In an instant, countless people looked up to her. Damn it, we have to speed up. Wan Jinyi too, hurry up and get the hunters to come back and give him his winning streak. He also wanted to achieve a 100-match winning streak. The Great Desolate Mansion, Lei Xinqing and Acheron Hall were the same. The battles became even more intense. Lin Xian didn't have any more winning streaks. His eyes shone with a cold light. Very good, it was time to start hunting again. This time his target was Acheron Hall. This time he was going to beat Acheron Hall into submission. Murong Qingqing returned to the place where the Kunlun Pavilion was located with 100 consecutive victories. The elders of Kunlun Pavilion were also confused. Qingqing, do you know that person? To be honest, they naturally knew that they were giving away their winning streaks. Murong Qingqing smiled and said, maybe I know him. The elders of Kunlun Pavilion didn't ask further. After all, it was a good thing for them. On the other side, the people of Wuxia City were also surprised. Who is this person? Why do I feel that he is on our side? Wuxia Sage also smiled mysteriously. He didn't say anything because he felt that it wasn't the right time yet. However, when he looked down, he frowned. He said, you guys should pay attention. The hunters from Sacred City have already made their move. If you encounter an extremely strong enemy, you must protect yourself. Losing 1 or 2 matches isn't scary. The people of Wuxia City also looked serious. Indeed, they had suffered a fierce attack previously. Some of the genius disciples of the 3rd generation had also lost. Even some of the disciples of the 2nd generation had been affected. At this moment, an earth-shattering sound suddenly erupted from the distant battlefield. Terrifying energy swept out in all directions. It attracted everyone's attention. When the people of Wuxia City saw this, their faces changed. Not good, it's junior sister Shin. Damn it, are these people attacking again? They realized that an extremely cold aura had suddenly exploded from the battlefield where Shin Jingqiu was. 2 white bone claws covered the sky and covered the earth. They could tear everything apart as they suppressed Shin Jingqiu. Junior sister Shin was in danger. Fu Hongye and the others' eyes instantly turned red. They had already lost Lin Xian. They couldn't let Shin Jingqiu be in danger. In an instant they rushed to the side, but they couldn't enter the arena. After all, there were rules in the competition. Lin Xian naturally noticed this scene. He was still thinking about who to attack, but now he saw someone attacking Shin Jingqiu. A cold, murderous intent appeared in his eyes as he walked closer. The person who was attacking Shin Jingqiu was extremely skinny. He looked like a skeleton. At this moment, 2 white bone claws appeared. They had a cold aura that drowned everything. This person was so strong. Countless people were shocked. They didn't expect such a terrifying expert to be hidden in this battlefield. Lin Xian also frowned. Indeed, this person was much stronger than the average sacred artifact. Moreover, he was using a secret technique. He could feel that this person was crazy. He didn't hesitate to destroy his own foundation to attack Shin Jingqiu. In the sky, 4 white bone claws appeared at the same time and forced Shin Jingqiu back. The terrifying power made people's hearts palpitate. Shin Jingqiu steadied herself. There was a trace of blood at the corner of her mouth, but a Dharma appearance appeared behind her. It was surrounded by chains of the great Tao. It was as if an ancient deity had been resurrected. This battle had attracted the attention of countless elders in the holy city. Even the saint rulers had opened their eyes. They stared at the Dharma appearance that day. Many of them were puzzled. Over at the Acheron Hall, the Silver Corpse Sage King's eyes lit up. She was indeed mysterious to be able to summon such a phenomenon. From the looks of it, her fortuitous encounter was not small. However, it was a pity that she was going to lose this time. Lin Wudi was already dead. There was no need for anyone related to Lin Wudi to live in this world. They could all go to hell. In the arena, the white bone claws shone again. Blood dripped from the corner of the skinny man's mouth. His body was swaying. Chapter 42-33. Not good. Shin Jingqiu is in danger. Everyone exclaimed. Lin Xian transmitted his voice to Qiu, retreat quickly. Shin Jingqiu wanted to launch an attack to defend herself. But when she heard Lin Xian's words, she retreated without hesitation. The cosmic form behind her stretched out 2 palms to block in front of her. It was like 2 mountains blocking all the attacks. Shin Jingqiu was pushed back and spat out another mouthful of blood. But she had already left the battle area. She actually left? Many people were shocked. Even the people from Wuxia City were discussing. They were also worried. They did not expect Shin Jingqiu to retreat. She was so decisive. The people from Acheron Hall were left with a grim expression. Damn it. They did not manage to keep her here. Was a pity. But her cosmic form was indeed out of their expectations. There was no hurry. There were plenty of chances. They had already figured out her strength this time. They would not let her escape next time. The silver corpse Holy King said coldly. On the other side, the 4 skeletal hands returned to the man's body. The man's face was pale. He stared at Shinjingqiu and revealed a cold smile. You actually escaped this time. The next time I meet you I will kill you. Hearing this, the people from Wushuang City turned pale. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Next time? Do you think you can live until the next time? A terrifying sword intent was released from his body, causing everyone to be frightened. The skinny man was stunned. But then he laughed. Don't you know the rules here? You can't fight outside the arena. Try attacking me. I can guarantee that you will die miserably. He walked down the arena. He came to Lin Xian's side with a hint of provocation. Kid, I will not give you the chance to attack. Is that so? Lin Xian laughed. Do you really think that I am willing to attack you? When you attacked previously, you exploded with power that surpassed everything. It has already burned your foundation. You are destroying yourself. Trash like you is not worthy of me attacking you. However, I've already guessed your background. If I let you witness the fall of your Acheron Hall's peerless genius, I'll be able to kill you. I don't know how you feel about it. At this point, Lin Xian turned around and walked away. People of Acheron Hall, you're dead meat. Do you want to die? A terrifying killing intent erupted from the skinny figure's eyes, but he was unable to make a move. Lin Xian smiled. Looks like you know the rules very well. You won't be able to stop me outside the arena. Damn it, he had said those words to prevent the other party from attacking him. Who would have thought that he would end up slapping his own face? The skinny man was so angry that he was about to vomit blood. The people around him were really surprised. Heavens, looks like this sword maniac is going to attack the Acheron Palace. Does he think that our Yellow Springs Hall is a pushover? When the people from Acheron Hall heard this, they snorted coldly as well. Since the other party dared to come, they had a way to get rid of him completely. Lin Xian arrived near the Yellow Springs shop and said coldly, Come on, you bunch of despicable and shameless people. Is there anyone who dares to come out and stand with yours truly? I heard that there's someone called Nine Nether in your Yellow Springs shop? Get out here. The moment these words came out, everyone was speechless. Was this a challenge? They wondered if the Acheron Hall would reply. Who was Nine Nether? He was a stranger. Some people were surprised. However, some of the top experts narrowed their eyes. They knew this person. His strength was unparalleled and extremely terrifying. He had even participated in the test of the paradise and succeeded. He had even broken through to the Saint Realm. A person like this was far from those Saint Realm saints from before. The sword maniac was challenging someone like this right from the start? When the elders of Acheron Hall heard this, they were enraged. Nine Nether stood out. You don't know what's good for you. Challenging me? That's good. It's time for me to show off my strength. After saying that, he flew forward. The silver corpse Saint King did not stop him. He felt that Nine Nether would not be defeated. He knew Nine Nether's strength very well. Nine Nether's true form was an earth dragon. He had entered a few ancient ruins and obtained many powerful trump cards. There were not many people who could defeat Nine Nether. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Following that, a figure landed on the arena like a comet. He waved his hand. Get up here and die. Lin Xian snorted coldly. You actually dare to come out. This is really beyond my expectations. Looking at your identity and strength, you should be a top genius of the Acheron Hall. If you die, I wonder what the Acheron Hall's reaction will be. I'm looking forward to it. The two of them faced each other head-on. Their auras were extremely terrifying. The moment they appeared, the laws on their bodies tore the 9 heavens apart. Countless cracks appeared. Sword Maniac, you are very strong because you have also participated in the test of the paradise. Unfortunately, your strength and talent are nothing in front of me. I have successfully broken through to the Saint Realm, but you haven't. This is the difference between us. Is that so? I didn't break through to the Saint Realm because I don't need the cultivation of a Saint Realm to kill you. I can also kill you as a small saint. Lin Xian's body emitted an extremely terrifying aura. Countless sword chi revolved around the 9 heavens and 10 earths. It was an extremely spectacular scene. On the other side, Nine Nether also made his move. An endless cold aura appeared behind him. It was as if he had rushed out from the netherworld. He turned into 5 demonic shadows, flickering in the sky. These 5 demonic shadows were extremely terrifying. They were like dark clouds that covered the 9 heavens. The 5 demonic shadows roared, shaking the heavens and splitting the earth. Then they quickly charged over. How terrifying. Why do I feel that he can kill a Saint Realm expert with just a casual attack? Everyone was shocked. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Get lost. With a roar, thunder surged on his body. Accompanying it was the sound of a dragon. It was as if a sea dragon had been resurrected. At this moment, the bodies of the surrounding people trembled. Their blood and chi froze. The 3 dragons in the distance also sucked in a breath of cold air. Their opponent's dragon roar had shocked them. At the same time, the 5 demonic shadows in the sky split open one after another. They turned into dark clouds and rolled up. A dragon's roar had destroyed an ultimate technique. It was really unbelievable. Lin Xian took a step forward and sneered. Don't embarrass yourself with such insignificant skills. Show me your true strength. Otherwise you will die a horrible death. Why is this kid so strange? That's the Acheron Palace. Some of the elders frowned. These 5 demonic shadows were extremely terrifying. Even the elders had to be careful when facing them. However, they were shattered by the opponent's roar. How strong has he become? Nine Nether's face sank. His eyes were burning with black flames. Interesting. Your strength is beyond my imagination. It seems that I have to take you seriously. Yi Shiwen thought. I hope you won't disappoint me. Nine Nether sneered. A terrifying aura surged out from his body. Chapter 4234. Endless demonic runes surged out of his body. Nine Gloom roared as if he was wearing a layer of ancient armor. A terrifying aura spread in all directions. In the next moment he seemed to have turned into the god of war. What kind of armor is that? But it doesn't look like it. Why does it feel like a super strong physique? What is Netherworld's original form? Isn't he an earth dragon? Why does he have such a physique? Sounds of discussion rang out. They all felt that this physique was very strange. This doesn't seem to be a cultivation technique of the Acheron Hall. Some people were surprised. In the legends, earth dragons could travel through the earth and had been to many ancient ruins. He had many trump cards in his hands, so this might be a supreme superpower that he obtained from an ancient ruin. Kid, do you think you can win against me with that little bit of strength? What a joke. I'll let you know how powerful I am. Nine Gloom's aura surged like the sea. Then he stretched out his palm and slapped forward. Boundless black flames danced, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. It was like the palm of the king of hell, covering the sky and covering the earth. Nine Gloom flames. How terrifying. Many people trembled when they felt the cold flames. Flames usually had a violent and scorching aura, but the Nine Gloom flames were cold. Wherever it passed it would freeze everything. Lin Xian was tense. He knew that the other party was an expert, so he didn't let his guard down. A pair of dark golden wings appeared on his back, surrounded by a terrifying storm. At the same time, there was a terrifying sword chi that pierced through the sky. Every sword chi was like a divine sword. It was extremely terrifying. At this moment he had turned into a sword god. Go. He charged forward, turning into a wind shadow and disappearing instantly. When he reappeared, a sword chi flashed between heaven and earth and slashed directly at the black palm. Bus. Sword-wielding technique. The sword chi swept in all directions. The black flaming palm stopped abruptly and enveloped the sword chi in the sky. In the next moment, a sonorous sound rang out. The two types of laws and superpowers clashed continuously. The wind and clouds changed. Poof, poof. The black palm covered everything and swallowed all the sword chi. However, not long after, it kept trembling and cracks appeared on it. A stream of sword chi pierced out, riddling the palm with thousands of holes before shattering it. How could this be? Nine Nether's pupils shrank. Even after he used the Nether body, he still couldn't resist his opponent's divine ability. What kind of sword chi was this? His face was incomparably cold. At this moment, the golden wings on Lin Xian's back flapped once more, and he turned into a bolt of lightning that shot over. At the same time he slowly formed a seal with his palm. Azure Dragon Seal. The phantom of an azure dragon emerged from his palm and roared between heaven and earth. As he breathed in and out, it was as if he had been resurrected. Dang Nine Nether did the same. Once again he waved his Nine Nether palm. It collided with the dragon's shadow, and a rumbling sound rang out. After a violent collision, Nine Nether was forced back. Blood trickled down from the corner of his mouth. His body also landed heavily on the ancient arena, causing it to shake non-stop. You dare to hurt me? You're courting death. Nine Nether was thoroughly enraged. Previously he was so high and mighty. In his opinion, he had successfully broken through to the Saint Venerable realm. How could a mere minor saint be his match? Therefore he was disdainful. However, he was at a disadvantage in both exchanges. Even now he was injured by his opponent. He couldn't bear it. The surrounding people were all stunned. How could this be? Was his opponent so strong? The people of Yellow Spring Palace shook their heads frantically. Impossible. It must be Nine Nether's carelessness. Just wait and see. That brat will definitely be torn into pieces. Nether spear. The boundless Nine Nether flame danced and turned into a long spear that was held in Nine Nether's hand. Wherever the spear passed, the space would constantly crack, as if it had turned into the abyss of hell. The long spear continued to thrust out, turning into a bottomless abyss that charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian waved the azure dragon 9 palms. The terrifying phantom contended with it, and the battle between the two was earth-shattering. However, at this moment, on the other side of the arena, which was behind Lin Xian, the void suddenly split open, and a white bone claw suddenly fell. That white bone claw turned into a heavenly blade and slashed towards Lin Xian. The dark golden phantom wings on Lin Xian's back were cut off. This attack landed on his body and sent him flying, injuring him and causing him to spit out a mouthful of blood. He felt a burning sensation on his back as if half of it was about to split open. Fortunately, he had a divine body, so he was able to block this attack. Otherwise, if it were any other sacred venerables, they would probably be split in half instantly. He was able to block it. Nine Nether's face darkened when he saw this scene. The other people exclaimed. They were too strong. They couldn't block the means of these two people at all. Just looking at it made their scalps tingle. The people of Yellow Spring Palace sneered. Just wait and see. Nine Nether would soon use all kinds of secret techniques. This brat wouldn't be able to block it at all. This was just the beginning. Lin Xian was also enraged. He stepped on lightning and transformed into a beam of sword light, charging over as well. It was the Azure Dragon Seal again. It also carried the power of thunder and charged towards the other party with a violent aura. The two of them fought at lightning speed. It was impossible to see clearly. One could only see the sky full of laws and spatial cracks dancing in the air. At this moment, the void behind Nine Nether suddenly split open. A sword shadow flew over and slashed Nine Nether's body. Nine Nether was sent flying. The battle armor on his body was split open and no blood flowed out. Damn it. Nine Nether roared. His eyes were red. Lin Xian sneered. How is it? How does it feel to be attacked from behind? I learned it from you. He knew the sword controlling technique. Sword chi appeared and disappeared unpredictably. This was to teach the other party a lesson. Damn it, the wrath of the heavens. Nine Nether roared and waved his spear. Endless black flames burned on it, and it was incomparably cold. Thousands of spear lights swept towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't take it head-on again. Instead, he used the wind shaking the 9 heavens again. He appeared and disappeared unpredictably, and his speed was extremely fast. Brat, what's the point of just dodging? If you have the ability, fight me head-on. Seeing that the other party's speed was very strange, Nine Nether roared crazily. Lin Xian snorted coldly. I'm dodging? Why don't you say that you can't keep up with my speed? As soon as he said that, more than a dozen sword lights slashed over from all directions and draped over the other party's body. Fortunately, Nine Nether had some defense and used the battle armor on his body to the extreme. However, he still retreated continuously, his blood and chi churning. Damn it, Yellow Spring. Nine Nether roared and shot out a yellow spring diagram that covered the 9 heavens. At this moment he was going to use the Holy City's secret technique to kill the other party. The yellow spring gushed out with an incomparably cold aura. It spread in all directions. The expressions of the surrounding people changed. Chapter 42-35. The map of Acheron hung down, and the endless Acheron water filled the sky. Everywhere it passed, the void cracked. Nothing could withstand it. The Acheron water rushed towards Lin Xian at an extremely fast speed. Some of the water was extremely corrosive. No matter how strong one's physique was, even if one had armor to defend against it. The space around the arena was completely covered. In the end, there was nowhere to hide. The Acheron water was everywhere. He was completely surrounded. Even the upper valley arena was corroded. Everyone was shocked. The Acheron water was too terrifying. As expected of Nine Nether. Even with a sacred weapon he might not be able to withstand it. Seeing this, Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He said coldly, "Do you think you can trap me like this? I'll show you my secret skill. In his right palm, there were endless black runes that wrapped around his fist. In the next moment his entire fist turned black. Tiger Demon Fist. A low voice was heard. The fist was swung as if a demonic tiger had been resurrected. It tore the void apart and the mineral water was instantly torn apart. Useless kid. No matter how strong your physique is, you won't be able to withstand it. Nine Nether laughed. But soon his pupils shrank. How was this possible? He realized that the black fist had torn apart the Acheron water. Impossible, how could his fist block this kind of power? However, just as he was in a daze, Lin Xian tore apart the Acheron water, and then used the secret skill, Army Destroyer. The terrifying power blasted on the opponent's body, and he was sent flying. Wherever it passed, large cracks would spread continuously, and it would almost explode. Half of his body was cracked. At this moment his face was full of shock. Impossible. What kind of fist technique was that? He was too shocked. The people from the Acheron Hall were also shocked. The elders of the other holy cities sucked in a breath of cold air. However, a few people who had participated in the Grotto Heaven trial gasped. Why was it so similar to the heaven-piercing palm that this fellow executed? However, only a few people had seen it before. Back then, the heaven-piercing palm could even seal a sacred ruler's weapon. The others didn't know at all, and those who knew shook their heads frantically. They didn't believe that no one would be able to learn such an absolute art. Although Nine Nether had participated in the Grotto Heaven test, he did not come from Green Hill Cave. Therefore he had never seen the black palm before. At this moment his eyes were red. I don't believe it. Again. The endless water of the yellow springs exploded once again, covering the sky and the earth. This time the corrosive power was even more terrifying, causing the surrounding people to retreat. In fact, as soon as the aura came out, it caused the world around the array formation to shatter. I don't believe that you can withstand it this time. Lin Xian sneered. His opponent's yellow spring water was indeed terrifying. It could corrode everything. Even if it was the Azure Dragon Seal or the wind shakes the nine heavens, it would still be difficult to resist. If he wanted to contend against it, he would have to use the Nine Yang Divine Body or the Great Dragon Sword Soul with all his strength. But no matter what, he would be instantly recognized. Lin Xian didn't want to reveal his identity yet, so he decided to continue using the Tiger Demon Fist. The Tiger Demon Fist was extremely frightening. It was very similar to the black palm that reached the heavens. Back then, that palm was immune to all kinds of divine abilities. The corrosive power of the yellow springs was also a kind of divine ability, so Lin Xian wasn't afraid at all. The second style of the Tiger Demon Fist, Sky Shattering. The surrounding yellow springs water instantly collapsed. It couldn't withstand the attack at all. The third style of the Tiger Demon Fist, Soul Suppression. Another cold voice rang out, and a ferocious black tiger appeared between heaven and earth. It was as if the divine monument was suppressing him. Sensing the aura, Nine Nether's eyes were filled with fear. Damn it. He quickly retreated. However, he found that the black monument was completely staring at him, making it impossible for him to dodge. Get lost. He roared at the sky. He used his absolute art to block it. Boom. 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 An earth-shattering sound was heard, and there was a burst of bright light. Everything disappeared. When the light dissipated, everyone saw that Nine Nether had been suppressed by the divine monument. His body was bleeding terribly. What? Was he defeated? Nine Nether was defeated? It was unbelievable. Countless people exclaimed. The people of the Acheron Hall were also stunned. How was this possible? Lin Xian's lips curled into a smile. He walked forward. Suddenly, his eyelids twitched as he felt a fatal danger. A golden light flashed in his eyes. He could feel that although Nine Nether seemed to be seriously injured, there was an extremely terrifying power hidden in his body. And it seemed that it could erupt at any time. Damn it. This guy actually dared to set up a trap. Then he would beat him at his own game. As he walked, he secretly created a clone. His true body instantly used the void escape technique and disappeared. Throughout the entire process, his body was surrounded by sword light, so no one noticed it. Even the sages didn't pay attention to him. They were all focused on Nine Nether. Interesting. The Flying Sky Sage King and the Desolate Sky Sage King sneered. The eyes of the people of the Acheron Hall turned red. The Silver Corpse Sage King said, "Don't be anxious. Just watch patiently." Hearing that, these people were stunned. What was going on? Could it be that he could turn the tables? Just as they were puzzled, Lin Xian's clone had already arrived in front of them. He said coldly, "You're worthy of being called a genius with such strength?" How dare you be so arrogant in front of me? You really don't know what's good for you. Nine Nether, who was suppressed on the ground, suddenly opened his eyes. He opened his mouth and spat out a terrifying blade light. This attack was really too sudden, and the blade light was too terrifying. It was enough to sweep through everything like a peerless blade. In an instant, Lin Xian's clone was split into two. What? He could still fight back. What a terrifying attack. He wasn't injured at all. Many people instantly screamed. It's over. The sword maniac is seriously injured. The sword maniac has been fooled. Exclamations were heard one after another. The expressions of Murong Qingqing, Shen Jingqiu, and the others instantly changed. They were extremely nervous. The peerless Sage King was also stunned. There was a cold light in his eyes and it sank. Ah! Nine Nether shattered the illusory stone tablet and stood up. There was a hint of savagery in his eyes. What an idiot. Did I kill you so easily? Brat, you're too weak to fight with me. His arrogant voice resounded through heaven and earth. The surrounding people were all stunned. The people of the Acheron Hall also smiled. Great, so it was a trap just now. I knew it. How could God Nine Sons lose? That sword maniac didn't know what was good for him and still wanted to challenge Nine Nether. It seems that he's dead meat now. Don't worry, with senior brother Nine Nether's strength, he won't let that kid die so easily. Chapter 42-36. Nine Nether was smug and arrogant as he strode forward. Even if he didn't kill the other party, he would still be severely injured. Next, he would torture the other party. However, at this moment, a piercing sword light came from behind him and instantly split him apart. A miserable cry was heard. This time, the surrounding void was completely shattered. The surrounding people were all stunned. What's going on? Who attacked again? Wasn't the sword maniac already killed? Nine Nether also couldn't believe it. His soul swept behind him. The next moment he roared in horror. How is it possible? You're not dead. Lin Xian walked out from behind him. Do you think your little trap can trap me? What a joke. Lin Xian attacked forcefully. His sword chi was like a dragon, directly hitting Nine Nether until he kept retreating. Many sword wounds appeared on Nine Nether's body. He was severely injured. Retreat quickly. In the distance, the eyes of the people from the Acheron Hall turned red when they saw this scene. They really didn't expect Nine Nether to be defeated. The other holy cities were even more shocked. Nine Nether gritted his teeth and roared. He retreated into the distance. He was defeated. He was unwilling to accept it, but as long as he could leave the battlefield, then the other party wouldn't be able to attack him anymore. Lin Xian attacked with the wind shakes the nine heavens. The terrifying law of wind swept the surroundings and blocked his path. Get lost. Nine Nether roared. His hands turned into black flames as he attacked continuously. At this moment he didn't hold back at all. However, Lin Xian's sword chi flew over and extinguished all the flames with a crack. Nine Nether vomited blood and was sent flying. At the same time he attacked with the chain of thunder and wrapped it around Nine Nether. It made it impossible for the other party to escape. No, damn it, don't you dare. The people from the Acheron Hall in the distance went crazy. The Silver Corpse Holy King opened his eyes and shouted coldly. Enough. When a Holy King spoke, everyone had to give face. Even if they won, they couldn't kill. However, Lin Xian didn't care. How could he stop just because the other party said so? He snorted coldly and sent out a sword chi. It carried an aura that could destroy everything and destroyed the other party's soul. Was he dead? Everyone went crazy. The other party actually killed Nine Nether in front of a Saint King. The people from Acheron Hall roared. The Silver Corpse Saint King's eyes flashed with terrifying killing intent. The other party actually dared to not give him face. Did he want to die? The pressure that belonged to a Saint King surged out, and it rarely reached the nine heavens. At this moment, the heavens fell and the earth cracked. Lin Xian said coldly as he naturally felt the immense pressure. What? You're a dignified Saint King and also the host this time. Could it be that you want to break the rules? Lin Xian sneered. The Silver Corpse Saint King's face turned pale as he gritted his teeth. He snorted coldly and sat down unwillingly. He couldn't attack, but he definitely wouldn't let the other party have an easy time. The surrounding people exclaimed in surprise. He was too arrogant. He didn't even take a Saint King seriously. What was this kid trying to do? Was he trying to defy the heavens? That despicable fellow, I'll go and kill him. Many people in the Yellow Springs shop gnashed their teeth. Even the hunters in the crowd started to move. The man who attacked Shinjingqiu earlier was so angry that he vomited blood. Previously he didn't care about Lin Xian's threat. However, he didn't expect that Lin Xian would really let him witness the death of a genius. That was the top genius of Acheron Hall. If he died, it would be a huge loss. Therefore he couldn't help but want to attack. However, Lin Xian didn't give these people a chance. He didn't have any intention of joining the battle. Instead, he stood there and watched the battle with a cold smile. This made everyone who wanted to kill him vomit blood. They were the ones who set the rules, but they didn't expect that they would be trapped by the rules. Damn it, if he dares to kill our genius, we'll kill his genius. The elders gritted their teeth and said, Saint King, let's attack. He must be related to Wuxia City. We'll kill Fu Hongye and Linghu Chueshua. Saint King Wuxia nodded and the hunters moved. However, Fu Hongye's side didn't attack. However, Linghu Chueshua's side was in danger. Linghu Chueshua was over 2,000 years old. However, he was only 2,300 years old. However, he had already arrived at another battlefield. This battlefield was for people between 2,000 and 5,000 years old. The people here were all Saint Venerables. Furthermore, they were all extremely terrifying Saint Venerables. An extremely terrifying elder made his move and charged at Linghu Chueshua. He was holding a large black bell in his hand and was shaking it non-stop. The bell's chime shook heaven and earth. Terrifying sound waves swept in all directions. This battlefield naturally attracted the attention of countless people. Oh no, they're attacking eldest senior brother. The faces of the people from Wuxia City became extremely ugly. They were gnashing their teeth. Even Saint King Wuxia's face turned cold. Lin Xian's face darkened. These people saw that they didn't have a chance to attack him, so they turned to attack someone else. He started to worry for Linghu Chueshua. After all, the enemy Linghu Chueshua was facing was extremely powerful. Linghu Chueshua received the attack. He was knocked back repeatedly and vomited large mouthfuls of blood. A terrifying light burst forth from his eyes as he unleashed an unparalleled secret technique to block the incoming attack. However, that old man only smiled sinisterly. It's useless. Go to hell. Oh no, that old man is a late-stage Saint Venerate. Sensing that old man's aura, the crowd's expressions all changed. They began to worry for Linghu Chueshua. A terrifying attack. The large black bell directly pressed down. It was trying to completely suppress Linghu Chueshua. Everyone despaired. The people from the Acheron Hall revealed sinister smiles. However, at this moment of crisis, the sword in Linghu Chueshua's hand burst forth with an incomparable light. Boom, boom, boom. A loud and clear sound echoed in all directions. When the light dissipated, the crowd was stunned. They discovered that Linghu Chueshua had been injured. However, the old man opposite him had been sliced in half. How could this be? Had Linghu Chueshua reached late-stage Saint Venerate? They had all gone mad. Saint King Wuxia laughed. How could his eldest disciple be weak? Damn it. The people from the Acheron Hall clenched their teeth and gave the order to kill. That old man's body healed and he stood up. However, he had still underestimated Linghu Chueshua. After revealing his true strength, Linghu Chueshua did not show any leniency. Each and every one of his attacks caused heaven and earth to tremble. In the end, that late-stage Saint Venerate was directly killed. Linghu Chueshua's entire body was burning with blood. However, his aura was incomparable. The crowd was astonished. Linghu Chueshua was most definitely a late-stage Saint Venerate. Furthermore, he was an extremely terrifying existence among late-stage Saint Venerates. Countless people cried out in alarm. Was this the strength of Peerless City's eldest disciple? He was truly too powerful. The people from the other holy cities also became incomparably serious. In the second battlefield, the strength that Linghu Chueshua had displayed in his age group had truly astonished everyone. Chapter 42-37. As expected, Linghu Chueshua did not stop there. Instead, he continued to kill his enemies. He continued to kill many powerful sacred sovereigns, and the Acheron Hall suffered heavy losses. 3 sacred sovereigns died in his hands. Similarly, the Great Desolate Mansion in Demon City lost 2 sacred sovereigns as well. For a moment, everyone was stunned. Linghu Chueshua's battle record exploded once again. He was originally ranked in the 50s of the second battlefield, but now he was ranked in the 30s. Moreover, his ranking was still rising. He had also broken through the 100 battle winning streak. Is this guy trying to get into the top 10? The surrounding people were going crazy. One should know that most of the people in this battlefield were from the older generation. After all, some of them were 4 to 5,000 years old. Those who were 2 to 3,000 years old were the top disciples. However, no matter how strong they were, they would not be able to fight against those elders. However, Linghu Chueshue seemed to have broken this rule. When Peerless Sage King saw this, he smiled. The disciples of Peerless City cheered excitedly. Great. Our senior brother is mighty. Lin Xin laughed when he saw this. Some people really don't know what's good for them. He looked at the Acheron Hall with a gloating expression. The people of the Acheron Hall were going crazy. At the same time, the people of Demon City and Great Desolate Mansion were vomiting blood. They could only compete with each other and look for an opportunity. At this moment, Peerless City was once again in the limelight. Lin Xin was also looking for an opportunity. However, his body suddenly trembled and his face changed. Not good. After the continuous battles, his strength had increased again. The seal that was originally suppressing him was about to break. If he broke through, he would be punished by the heavens. It would be an attack that could destroy the world. Lin Xian's face turned pale. The surrounding people were also shocked when they saw this. What's going on? What's wrong with this kid? Is he injured? He must have been too arrogant. How could he not be injured? It would be best if he was seriously injured. Seeing Lin Xian's performance, cold laughter could be heard one after another. They felt great. If this kid's injuries were to explode, they would have one less powerful enemy. The people of Peerless City were also shocked. Peerless Sage King frowned. He transmitted his voice and asked, Junior brother, what's wrong? Lin Xian said, I can't suppress my cultivation anymore. I might break through to Holy Venerate. Peerless Holy King was speechless. If others wanted to break through to Holy Venerate, they would be overjoyed. However, the other party was still trying to suppress him. If word of this got out, the geniuses here would probably vomit blood from anger. However, as soon as Lin Xian explained, he understood that Lin Xian's situation was different. He was suppressed by the Great Tao and could not break through. If he tried to break through by force, he would be punished by the heavens. He could only go to planet Xiwan, a world with powerful enemies. It seems like I'll have to help you. Peerless Saint released a clone. He quietly came to Lin Xian's side. Then, Lin Xian entered the mysterious small sword world in his body. The Peerless Saint King said, I'll use the Peerless Seal to suppress your cultivation for now. This way you don't have to worry about anything and can attack to your heart's content. Then he used the Peerless Seal on Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian realized that the feeling of breaking through had disappeared, which made him heave a sigh of relief. It was too dangerous. If he broke through while fighting, it would be a big joke. Senior brother, can I go to planet Xiwan if I win the competition? Lin Xian asked. Peerless Saint King smiled. Well, I'll give you some hope. You can fight first. Anyway, with your strength, you'll definitely be able to go to planet Xiwan. Peerless Saint King smiled mysteriously, then he left. The people around could not see Lin Xian, so they asked, where did that kid go? Who knows, maybe he was too injured and ran away. Sigh, what a pity. But thinking about it, he was able to kill so many experts. How could he not be injured? Previously he was just holding on. Sigh, a genius of the generation has fallen. It's a pity that he did not die on the battlefield. Murong Qingqing and Xinjingqiu were also worried. However, after Peerless Saint King returned, he sent a voice transmission to the two of them, which made them heave a sigh of relief. That's great. That kid is seriously injured and probably won't appear for a while. He might even die from his injuries. Many people laughed. The people from Demon City also sent out their own geniuses to rejoin the battle. Great Baron Mansion and Acheron Hall did the same. Huang 16 came to the arena and sent a sacred venerable flying in 3 moves. In the next 3 battles he won within 5 moves, which attracted the attention of many people. The people from Great Baron Mansion smiled in satisfaction. Old 16's strength has improved quite well. It seems that he will definitely be able to make it to the top 30 this time. If we nurture him well, he might even become a Saint King. They were very satisfied and Huang 16 did not let them down. Soon he won 20 consecutive battles, defeating his opponents within 5 moves. Everyone knew that another hidden genius had appeared. Who dared to challenge him? Huang 16 stood there with his sword pointing in all directions, exuding a domineering aura. At that moment many people fell silent. They did not even dare to look him in the eye. There were too many dark horses in this world. Previously there was an expert like the Sword Maniac. They thought that if the Sword Maniac did not appear and disappear, those geniuses would be able to make a comeback. Who would have thought that there was still a hidden expert? Huang 16 appeared. He did not make a move before, but now he dominated the world. There was really a second sword maniac. What's there to be arrogant about? Why didn't he make a move when the sword maniac was here? Now he's here. In the distance, Wang Xiaofeng and the others gritted their teeth. They were very dissatisfied with the other party's arrogance. However, the other party did have the right to be arrogant. What? Is there no one who dares to challenge me? How disappointing. Huang 16 roared. This feeling of looking down on the world is really great. I've only been away for a short while, and someone can't wait to show off. When the tiger is not around, the monkey will be king. Since you want to fight, I'll accompany you. A cold snort was heard. Then a stream of light landed on the arena. The surrounding people were stunned. Who's so arrogant? Who dares to challenge Huang 16? However, when they saw the figure, they were all stunned. Isn't the sword maniac seriously injured? He probably won't be able to participate in the competition for the rest of his life. How is it possible that he's back? In an instant, countless people exclaimed. The faces of the experts from the great sage city turned ugly. The killing god is back. The eyelids of the people from the great desolate mansion twitched. Huang 16 was also stunned. His face darkened. So it's you. To be honest, the other party was indeed very strong. You had to treat him seriously. Lin Xian said, yes, it's me. Didn't you say that no one wants to challenge you? Fine, I'll challenge you now. Make your move. As soon as he said that, the crowd went into an uproar. Everyone knew how powerful the sword maniac was. Although Huang 16 did not fight much, he seemed to be able to dominate the world. The two of them would definitely fight fiercely. However, the people from the Acheron Hall were indeed worried. They were full of confidence in Nine Nether. However, the result made their hearts bleed. Chapter 42-38. The crowd went crazy when they heard that. What did that mean? Did the great desolate mansion have no confidence in Huang 16? Otherwise, why would they ask Huang 16 to go back? Huang 16's face darkened. Did their elders not believe in him? Damn it. He gritted his teeth and did not leave. Lin Xian laughed when he saw that. Why are you still here? Your elders are calling you back for dinner. Hurry up and leave. You trash. What did you say? Huang 16 roared. Don't be too arrogant. I'm not afraid of you. Today I'll fight you to the death. I'll show everyone who's stronger. Huang 16 raised his right hand and a desolation sword appeared in his hand. It shone brightly. Old 16, come back quickly. The elders of the great desolate mansion shouted again. Huang 16 turned around and looked into the distance. He gritted his teeth and said, Old Jiang, trust me. I'll definitely kill this kid. Please give me a chance. What? The elders hesitated. To be honest, they did not want Huang 16 to return. After all, it would be a huge blow to their confidence. However, saving their lives was more important. However, at this moment, the Silver Corpse Saint King said, let him fight. Otherwise, this will become his inner demon. He would never be able to advance in his life. Indeed, everyone had been through this stage. They knew that if they could not defeat a strong opponent, they would be defeated. They would be suppressed for the rest of their lives. It was a terrible feeling. Therefore, the elders of the Acheron Hall did not stop him. Instead, they said, be careful. Don't worry. I won't let him continue to be arrogant. Huang 16 was extremely confident. Kid, no one, be it Saint Venerables or experts, could last more than 5 moves from me in the previous battles. Killing you will not be an exception. Huang 16 displayed an unparalleled domineering aura, causing everyone to exclaim in surprise. The people of the great desolate mansion nodded. It seemed like there would be no problem. After all, this sword maniac seemed to be injured. Perhaps he had not recovered yet. He was only temporarily suppressed. This way he would not be able to unleash his full strength. His time of death has finally come. Not more than 5 moves? In the arena, Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes after hearing this. He stretched out 3 fingers and said, if I can't finish you in 3 moves, I won't fight again for the rest of my life. Wow. Even more arrogant. Everyone thought that Desolate 13 had become even more arrogant. Unexpectedly, the sword fanatic was even more arrogant. Finish the battle in 3 moves? Wouldn't he be too arrogant? Some people frowned. Although they knew that Lin Xian was very powerful, Huang 16 was also a top-notch expert. Could such a person be defeated in 3 moves? Desolate 16's expression darkened. The other party actually dared to look down on him, which made him very unhappy. Kill. With a roar, the Baron's sword in his hand slashed down with a terrifying aura. It slashed towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't waste any time either, saying that he would kill his opponent in 3 moves. He would not be soft-hearted. With an angry roar he went all out. The first move of the Tiger Demon Fist, Army Destroyer. The black fist blasted out, directly hitting the Baron sword. The terrifying power shattered the Desolate sword, and the terrifying aura swept towards Desolate 16. Boom. Desolate 16's expression changed drastically. He didn't expect Lin Xian to be so strong. He quickly retreated, but in an instant half of his body was shrouded by the power and turned into a bloody mist. What? He was severely injured in one punch? The surrounding people went crazy. Why did the sword fanatic seem even more terrifying than before? The people of the Great Desolate Mansion also had ugly expressions. Could it be? Did they make the wrong decision again? They wanted to shout for Desolate 16 to come back, but it was too late. After Lin Xian's first move succeeded, the second move of the Tiger Demon Fist, Heaven's Fall, appeared again. Damn it. Sensing the change in Lin Xian's fist technique, Desolate 16 roared. A pagoda rushed out of his body, emitting a desolate aura. At the same time he spat out 2 shields in front of him. He didn't believe that he couldn't block it. These were all extremely terrifying weapons. Their defense was super strong. However, under the second move, everything was torn apart. Nothing could stop it. Desolate 16's body also cracked under the Heaven's Fall, turning into a bloody mist. Ah! Desolate 16 raised his head and roared, his voice filled with endless fear. He turned into a bloody ray of light and flew into the distance. The arrogance he had before was all gone. Killing the enemy in 5 moves? He threw all those thoughts to the back of his mind. He wanted to escape because he realized that Lin Xian was too strong. He was no match for Lin Xian. Desolate 16 had actually fled. The spectators were all stunned. The experts of the sacred city were also shocked. The people of the Great Desolate Mansion were also nervous. However, Desolate 16 was decisive. He ran away when he couldn't win. This still gave them hope. Don't you think it's too late for you to run? The third move of the Tiger Demon Fist, Soul Suppression. Lin Xian roared and unleashed his strength to the maximum. A whistling sound was heard. It shocked the heavens and earth. Suddenly, the shadow of a black tiger descended from the sky and suppressed Desolate 16 who was running away. Desolate 16 fell onto the arena and spat out a mouthful of blood. He didn't run away? Countless people exclaimed. The people of the Akron Hall were also looking terrible. They felt despair. Was another prodigy going to fall? Desolate 16 roared crazily. Damn it, kid, let me go. My brother is Desolate 13, a top expert of the previous generation. You're dead meat if you touch me. How dare you threaten me? I don't care who your brother is. Even if your ancestor is a sage king, I won't let you go today. Lin Xian sneered and slapped Desolate 16. Desolate 16's face was shattered. He couldn't say a word. His eyes were filled with fear. Lin Xian laughed. Don't worry, I won't kill you. I'll just cripple you. I'll turn you into a piece of trash. Desolate 16 still had a glimmer of hope, but when he heard Lin Xian's words he lost all hope. Lin Xian was a demon. He wanted to escape but he couldn't. At the next moment he felt a terrifying sword intent surge into his body, directly destroying his foundation. At the same time, his soul was severely injured and became extremely weak. He was finished. The cultivation and strength that he had cultivated for thousands of years were all destroyed. He had become a piece of trash. This was worse than killing him. Get lost, piece of trash. I don't want to kill you. Lin Xian kicked Desolate 16 away. Desolate 16's body was like a kite with a broken string as he fell into the distance. He landed in front of the elders of the Great Desolate Mansion. The elders of the Great Desolate Mansion gritted their teeth. They went forward to check on Desolate 16 and found that he had become a piece of trash. What a terrifying move. The surrounding people were stunned. Lin Xian was going to fight to the death with the Great Desolate Mansion. The Silver Corpse Sage King's eyes shone with a terrifying light as he stared at Lin Xian. No one had ever dared to provoke them like this. Lin Xian was courting death. However, Lin Xian didn't care. When these Sage Kings wanted to kill him, they didn't expect this to happen. He snorted coldly. At the same time, a roar came from the second battlefield. Then, a figure that looked like a demon flew over. He looked down at the 8 barren lands. Who dared to cripple my brother? Chapter 4239. A cold voice rang out, sending chills down everyone's spine. Everyone looked up in fear and exclaimed, Huang Shisan. He's going to fight? He was from the same generation as Fu Hongye, even though he was 2030 years old. Hence, he was assigned to the second battlefield. Fu Hongye was 1800 years old and was still in the third battlefield. What? You're not happy? I'll kill you like a dog in the next battle. Lin Xian's voice was so cold that everyone almost fainted. Is this kid really that reckless? What a reckless kid. Huang Shisan's face was cold, and a terrifying aura was emitted from his body. He was about to fight. However, a few elders flew over and said coldly, Huang Shisan, please follow the rules. Otherwise we'll kill you. Despicable. Huang Shisan didn't attack but roared at the sky. Kid, just you wait. Do you think the rules can protect you forever? I'll make you wish you were dead in the next round. Desolate 13 turned around and walked away from La. The surrounding people exclaimed. What does this mean? Can Huang Shisan fight in the second round? They didn't know, but if this was true, then this sword maniac was really in danger. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The second round? I'm looking forward to it. However, some people obviously couldn't wait until the second round. The desolate Heaven Sage King was preparing to send a super hunter to kill Huang Shisan. Even the Demon City and the Acheron Palace were preparing to go all out. Peerless Saint King sent a telepathic message to Lin Xian, asking him not to make any more moves to avoid any danger. Lin Xian nodded. It's about time. The rest will be left for the second round. Hence he didn't attack. Although he had given the record to Murong Qingqing before, he had made up for it by killing a couple of top warriors later on. He had also won 100 battles in a row. Hence, he wouldn't have a problem advancing to the next round. Lin Xian didn't attack anymore. Instead he kept watching. There were a few people he paid attention to. For example, Wang Jianyi and Chao Tianxing. Those who went to the second battlefield with him were too terrifying. The Acheron Palace and the other great sage cities saw that Lin Xian wasn't attacking, and they were about to vomit blood. Damn it. They were preparing to kill Huang Shisan together, but they didn't expect that they would punch the air. They clenched their teeth to their teeth, but they couldn't do anything about it. From the looks of it, this guy wanted to enter the second stage safely. Did he think that he could escape after entering? Just wait, the second round will be his death. I'll let him know what hell is. These Saint Kings gnashed their teeth. Finally, after another half a month, the ancient arena slowly disappeared, and the battles came to an end. Knowing that the first trial was over, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Is over, is. At this moment, the entire heavenly wind world was filled with the smell of blood, causing people to faint. The people in the extraterritorial observatory were terrified as well. These dead geniuses and experts could easily sweep through a region in the outside world. But now that he had fallen, was it worth it? The experts and elders of the Saint City also had ugly expressions on their faces. But in the end, they took a deep breath and dispelled the sadness in their eyes. Although the losses were heavy, it was worth it. The path of martial arts was bound to be extremely dangerous. Only those who lived and grew could become the ultimate powerhouse. The faces of the people from the Great Sage City, the Yellow Spring Palace, the Great Desolation Mansion, and the Demon City grew even uglier. This was because their side had suffered even more losses. Nearly half of their people had been killed by Lin Xian. Many of them were top-notch geniuses who had the potential to become Saint Kings in the future. But now he's fallen. Next was the recuperation period. Everyone had 10 days to recover. 10 days later, the second stage would be opened. As for what the second stage would be, it was still unknown. They could only raise their cultivation and strength to the peak to deal with any possibility. On the 9th day, the Silver Corpse Holy King walked out and announced, "The first stage is over. Those who have achieved 50 consecutive victories will pass the second stage." When the announcement was made, there was an uproar. That was because some of the survivors would be eliminated. After all, they had not achieved 50 consecutive victories. The conditions were too strict. Many people sucked in a cold breath. Those who entered the second stage were definitely the strongest of the experts. The Tao discussion is a matter of the second heavenly boundary. Although most of the participants are experts from the Saint City, we have invited some wandering cultivators. However, the second stage is too difficult for wandering cultivators. It needs to be done in groups. Therefore, these wandering cultivators can join the Saint City. They can complete the second stage together. When the announcement was made, everyone understood. At the same time, the hunters who had appeared as wandering cultivators walked out. They then walked in all directions. It seemed that they were truly going to return. When the people from the Saint City saw this, their eyes flickered. They were not going to give them a chance. They were going to let their hunters return under some guise. Lin Xian naturally knew this. He immediately snorted coldly. However, he had also appeared as a hunter. Therefore he had to choose a sect. It seemed like the second stage was not an individual battle. Could it be a group battle? It seemed like it was time to return. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. The others were also paying attention. They wanted to know which faction this kid belonged to. However, they were not sure. Among them, Meng Qing walked out and said, "Sword Maniac, why don't you join the Blue Dragon race? We can definitely help you pass the second stage." When the words came out, everyone was shocked. Could it be that this guy was related to the dragons? The winged and sword dragons also hurried out and sent out invitations. They knew that Sword Maniac had the blue dragon horn. If they could get closer to him, they would gain endless benefits in the future. Therefore, the three dragons were competing with each other to invite him. Everyone was stunned. What was this kid's relationship? Guan Songhai represented the Azure Sea Pavilion to invite him. Even Qin Xiener came out to invite him. Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu also came out to invite him. Everyone was dumbfounded. Their eyes were red with envy. Who didn't want to be treated as a VIP by the great sage city? Their dreams were actually fulfilled by a young man. Lin Xian thought for a while and said, "It was hard to refuse everyone's invitation. I'm embarrassed to reject anyone. How about this? I'll leave it to fate. Let's see who God wants me to choose. After this sword spins, I'll join whichever faction the sword peak is facing." Lin Xian waved his hand, and a sword light spun in the sky like a fiery wheel. Finally, the sword tip pointed towards Peerless City. Of course, he was secretly controlling it, because he felt that it was time to return. Seeing this, the people from Peerless City were stunned. Such a top expert was going to join them? If that was the case, their chances of winning the second stage might be higher. Peerless Sage King squinted his eyes and laughed. This kid wanted to come back, but he still used so many tricks. Chapter 42-40. The people from Thousand Demon City and Acheron Palace were filled with murderous intent when they saw this. They had guessed that the other party was related to Wushuang City, and it seemed like it was true. Damn it, I'll send all of them to hell this time. Their eyes were filled with coldness. The Silver Corpse Sage King walked out and said, "The second stage will begin tomorrow, and I'll tell you the rules of the second stage. The second stage. All of you will enter a unique space where you will fight. There is no age restriction, but Sage Kings and Sage King level weapons are not allowed to appear." Everyone was in disbelief when they heard this. What? No age restriction? Does that mean all the people from the first and second battlefields can come? Oh my god. Although they were all sacred venerables, the people from the third battlefield were all early sacred venerables. The first and second battlefields were different. The second battlefields were mostly mid-sacred venerables, and there were a few late sacred venerables. The first battlefields were all late sacred venerables, and they were all old monsters who had lived for more than 5,000 years. If they fought, they would most likely die. Who could stop them? In an instant, everyone was in an uproar. However, the eyes of the experts from the Great Sage City flickered. It was obvious that they already knew about this rule. Said the Silver Corpse Saint King in a low voice. Everyone quieted down and he continued. The Sage Heavens Tao discussion is not only a test of talent, but it is also a risk to survive in the myriad of worlds. Therefore, the second stage of the battle is to make it as realistic as possible. Only those who can survive in the complicated battle are the geniuses and experts that we want. Moreover, you don't have to fight alone, you can form an alliance and it's up to you. I will give each of you a command medallion, but each command medallion will be different. There are 3 types of tokens: heaven, earth, and mortal. Only by gathering all 3 types of tokens can you pass the second stage. You have 1 month in the second stage. Everyone was stunned. Not only did they have to survive against those old monsters, but they also had to gather all 3 types of tokens. There was also a 1-month time limit. Oh my god, this is an impossible task. Lin Xian was also stunned. He asked, "What's wrong with senior brother?" If that was the case, there would be very few people who could pass the second stage. The Peerless Sage King sighed and transmitted his voice. This wasn't the first time this had happened. Originally, they didn't expect too many people to pass the second round. He didn't plan on letting too many people pass. Lin Xian was shocked. What was going on? Could it be related to going to planet Xiwan? No matter what, he has to pass. The other sacred cities also inquired about this matter. However, after learning about it, these people quieted down. He was afraid that the second trial would be even more brutal than the first. Alright, once you enter the second stage you won't have any chance of admitting defeat, so it's not too late to back out now. A cold voice sounded. However, those participants' gazes were resolute. Although they knew that the road ahead was dangerous, so what? They had encountered so many dangers along the way. It wasn't easy for him to come this far, so how could he give up? As long as there was a glimmer of hope, they had to fight hard, so no one gave up. Very good. The Silver Corpse Saint King smiled when he saw this. He would rest for another day. Tomorrow when the sun rises it will begin. Everyone went back and gathered together to discuss countermeasures for the second stage. After all, the second stage wasn't an individual battle. It was a group battle, so the distribution was very important. Most of the sacred cities had to select a few geniuses, which meant that even if they got the token, they would give it to those geniuses first. They had to ensure that those geniuses successfully appeared. Peerless City was also discussing this matter. Lin Xian was surprised to find that Peerless City didn't send too many people this time. There were only about a dozen people in total. Although there were quite a number of people compared to the other sacred cities, it was much smaller. That was because the other sacred cities only had a few dozen people. The difference in numbers was 2 to 3 times. However, Peerless Holy King didn't care. He was very confident. Lin Xian also found out that the participants this time were all direct disciples, which meant that they were trained by Peerless Holy King. There were a total of 7 people. Other than that, there were also Lin Xian and Xin Jingqiu. That was a total of 9 people. There were also 2 advanced sacred venerables of the older generation. Altogether, there were 11 people. Although the number of people was small, Peerless Holy King was very confident. The other sacred cities also quickly made their preparations. The night passed quickly. When the sun rose the next day, everyone took a deep breath. They all stood up. The great sage kings also walked out. Silver Corpse Holy King stood above the 9 heavens. He said, "Open it." These holy kings formed hand seals and pressed down on the void. The entire void let out a loud roar. Soon an ancient phantom appeared. It was indomitable like an immortal king. He held a mirror in his hand. The mirror was drawn into a whirlpool door. Silver Corpse Holy King said coldly, "Walk in and you will enter the second stage." With that, the people from Acheron Hall rushed in. 47 people from Acheron Hall entered. Each of them was extremely powerful. After they entered the Thousand Demon City. Thunder God City, Great Desolate Mansion, and other sacred cities all entered. Peerless Holy King also took a deep breath. He said, "You all go in too." With the 2 older generation figures taking the lead, Lin Xian and the others also soared into the sky and walked inside. Looking at the disappearing figures, Acheron Hall, Great Desolate Mansion, and other sacred cities had cold killing intent in their eyes. This time they would not return. After everyone left, the holy kings formed hand seals again. The mysterious mirror in the sky shone brightly. Then it formed a light screen. When the surrounding people saw the scene in the mirror, they exclaimed. It was the person who had just entered. Indeed, the mirror had transformed into the person who had just entered the room. Not only that, the mirror formed 24 light screens. Between heaven and earth, everyone could see it. Even those from the extraterritorial region could see it clearly. So this is what the second stage looks like. Although they had entered, they could clearly see the situation of these people. They wondered what kind of intense battle would break out next. Lin Xian took a deep breath after entering. He knew that it would be very dangerous. However, when he appeared, he was stunned because he realized that there was no one around. Random teleportation. He was surprised. If that was the case, he had to meet up first. Otherwise, it would be very dangerous. Fortunately, everyone would be randomly teleported. Therefore, he was not afraid that there would be a situation in the early stages where they outnumbered him. They had already thought of such a situation, so they had thought of a strategy to deal with it. Lin Xian took out his token and sent a voice transmission. They began to gather. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.